You are watching Eswatini TV, Sibuko Semaswati.
A very good afternoon to our viewers and welcome to our show Home Study. I am Nogwazi Dlamini and as always I'm with the beautiful Lerato Mabilisa. Also joining us in the studio are our sign language interpreters Nompumelelo Hadebe and Zanele Mota. How are you doing today, Lerato?
I'm great. How are you, Nogwazi?
I'm awesome today. It's a good day, isn't it?
It is a very good day today.
Yes, can you please remind our viewers about today's timetable?
Well, our timetable is as follows, dear viewer. Today we have English for the grade 7s from 2 to 2:30 p.m. and then we have additional maths for form 3s from 2:30 to 3:08 p.m. and then Siswati for the form 3s from 3:08 to 3:45 p.m. and then for the form 5s we have religious education, which is from 3:45 to 4:25 p.m. and then lastly for the form 5s again we have mathematics from 4:25 to 5 p.m.
Yes, please, and also a reminder about social media platforms as well.
Okay, so as most people know, we are live on YouTube and on Facebook from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. and you can also text us on our WhatsApp line,
yes,
which appears from time to time during the lessons.
Yeah.
So Nogwazi, please tell the viewers about the channel is collaboration with Eswatini.
Actually, it's Channel Yamaswati
Oh, yeah.
now. The show is repeated every single day from 9 a.m. until 12 p.m. Home study on Channel Yamaswati, a collaboration between us and Channel Yamaswati.
Yeah,
which is actually good, hey? So right now, viewers, without wasting any time, Lerato will be taking us through with Themba Dlamini. You will be doing English language. So grade 7s, it's your time now. We'll be back after this.
When we talk of screening, basically this is a preventative measure of finding out if there's any problem that may present as a result. So when you screen, you're trying to find out whether it exists or not, the problem. So in our case, the idea of screening is to ensure that everyone does not present with high temperature. So anyone who's presenting with higher temperature than usual is then picked up, and then from then on you'll then be tested to make sure that you have the virus or not. That is the main difference.
Eswatini sibambisene kulwa nekwanza kuligciwane le corona.
welcome back grade 7s to our teleeducation program Home Study. With me in studio today is Mr. Themba Dlamini, who is going to be taking you guys for English language. And the topic for today is reading comprehensions. Good afternoon and welcome to Eswatini TV, sir.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm alright. So,
Yes.
how's your day going so far?
My day is so good. So good.
Okay.
I'm ready to teach my grade 7s just now.
Okay.
Yes.
So, please can you tell us a bit about today's topic, reading comprehensions?
All right. So let me take this opportunity to greet viewers at home, also to greet my grade 7 at home. As Lerato has just said, we are going to be doing a reading comprehension today. Now, let us begin by defining what a reading comprehension is. Now, when you are talking about a reading comprehension, that is the ability to be able to understand and also to be able to interpret and to use information that you got or that you get as you are reading a passage or a text. Now, from what I've just already said, Lerato, it means therefore it is important that as you read a passage, make sure you don't just read because your teacher has said to read. Read with understanding. That is why today we are here to try and remind our pupils back at home to say, when your teacher says read at school, make sure you read with understanding.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you
yes.
very much, sir. So, what is today's reading comprehension going to be about?
All right, we are going to see as we continue. I don't want to expose what I'm going to be doing today. All right.
Okay.
So as I have just already talked about the need or to have ability to understand. Most of us, when we read, we do not read with understanding in most of the time. The ability in us is not there to read. Hence the need for one to teach you how to read with understanding. Now, let us move on to look at the importance, because most people are asking, why exactly do we have to do a reading comprehension? There is a reason why. Reading comprehension is very important, okay? So now I would love us to move on to look at why exactly do we have to do a reading comprehension. Now, we are saying a reading comprehension is very important to be taught at schools, because it makes our learners to be very skilled or effective readers. So we want our readers, our learners, to be effective when they are reading. We want our learners to be very skilled when they are reading. So we are saying skilled readers, they know what they are reading and they can make predictions and they can use their background knowledge before they start reading so that they can understand what they are reading. They can also summarize the passages they are reading. Just to mention a few, there are many reasons why we are doing this. And then another one is to provide pupils with the ability to understand. The part ability is very important. So we want them to understand as they read a passage by using the different reading skills and the different reading strategies which they do not naturally use when they are reading. Don't worry, we are going to see the reading skills as we continue. We are also going to see the reading strategies as we continue, because these two are very key when you want to understand what you are reading. Now, let us look at this short text here. I am going to read the text. I'm sure everybody is looking at the text. I'm going to read the text for you at home. Now I am reading. "'Twas brillig and the sleety toves did guy and gimble in the wab. All mimsy were the borogovs and the mom rads out grab." Now, this is the end of the short text that I've just read. My question is, did you understand what you were reading? Now, if you look at the text that we were just reading, you can see that we were able to demonstrate letter knowledge. That is why we were able to read. We were able to demonstrate phonemic awareness and reading fluency. However, we didn't understand the vocabulary because it is not making any sense to us. Now, most cases, good people, you are going to find that our teachers back at schools, they give us reading passages to read. What we normally do there is we read the passage without understanding. Hence, today, we want to remove that mindset whereby people are going to read without understanding. And then again, we are saying reading comprehension, therefore, emerges from the mastery and the proficient use of all reading skills, which are phonemic knowledge. So these are the reading skills now, which are phonemic knowledge, letter knowledge, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. Now, a skilled reader should be able to think through and interact with a text to have a full meaning of the passage. So today, good people, we are going to do a reading comprehension so that we can be able to demonstrate how we are going to be using these reading strategies so that at the end of the day, we can have meaning and enjoy what we are reading. Now, first, before we can continue, let us look at the objectives briefly. Number one, I expect that once we are done doing the lesson, you should be able to read on your own and understand a reading passage. Secondly, you should be able to recall and summarize a passage. And then thirdly, which is the last one, you should be able to answer questions on the passage. This is very important. Once you have read the passage, you should know that at the end, you are expected to answer those questions. And then as we do this exercise, we are going to need your books, grade 7 textbooks, and your pen, a pencil, this is very important, and exercise book. Of course, we are going to use a story here to illustrate and demonstrate how to read with understanding. Now, in our screens here, there's a picture here. Have you ever seen this picture before? Do you know what this picture does? When does it do all the things it does? Lerato, can you help me? Have you ever seen this one before?
No, sir.
Not exactly.
No.
Even myself, good people, have never seen this one. What do you think this is?
Well, it looks like a ghost.
It looks like
horrific, I'm not sure.
It looks like a ghost, very horrific, as you say.
Yes.
Yes, it is horrific. Even myself, I'm scared to even look at it here. Now, what do you think the passage is going to be about as you look into this picture we are having here?
Well, I probably think it's going to be about a ghost hunting people. I really don't know.
All right, so Lerato is saying she thinks the passage is going to be about a ghost
Yes.
hunting people,
No, haunting.
haunting people and terrorizing those people.
Yes.
All right. So that is what you are thinking about this picture.
Yes.
It means, therefore, before we can start reading a passage, or even you can start reading a passage yourself, be in a position to predict what that passage might be about. All right. Now, let us go and look at the passage itself. The topic of the passage is the ghost of Matendele Township. Now, can you open your books on page 140? That is where you are going to find the passage. Now, as we read the passage, we are going to be demonstrating how are we supposed to use the reading strategies in order for us that at the end of the day we have a full sense, a full meaning of what we were reading about. Now, I'm going to read the passage on your behalf, and as we read, we are going to be looking at a lot of things as I've already alluded to. I am reading now. When I was 12, I heard a story so strange that when I think of it even today, my hair still stands on end. The story was told to me by my friend and classmate when I was in grade 7 at Nsongweni Primary School. This is what my friend told me. I once visited a friend's house in Matendele Township with my younger brother. We had so much fun playing cards with our friend, we did not notice when the sun began to set. It was only when Sitagele's mother came back from work that we realized it was quite late in the evening. We hurriedly said our goodbyes and hit the road. Our plan was to run straight to our home, which was about 2 kilometers from Matendele Township. While we were running, a car approached us from behind and flashed its bright lights, casting our long shadows in front of us. We decided on the spur of the moment to ask for a ride. As if he could sense our desperation, the driver stopped and offered us a ride. When we were inside the car, he asked where we were going. My brother replied, To Matendele Township where we live. Oh, good, said the man in a hoarse voice. I am going in that direction too. Now let us pause for a bit and go back to see which words are giving us a problem as we read here that hinder our understanding. Now, if you look at paragraph 3, it says, we hurriedly said our goodbyes and hit the road. Now there is the word hurriedly. What does hurriedly means? So it means, therefore, as you read the passage, make sure you also look for the new words which are going to help make your vocabulary rich. So we are saying hurriedly means to walk or to do something quickly or fastly. And then it says hit the road. What does hit the road means? So hit the road, in this case, it means to begin a journey or to start a journey. Now, again, when you look at this, what can you say is the setting, or where is this story taking place? In the second paragraph, we have said this story is taking place at Matendele Township. And who are the people who are involved? The characters in this case. Who are the characters? And then we can see that the characters is the younger brother and his elder brother, that is the I, and also there is Sitagele's mother and Sitagele herself. Now, what do you think is going to happen next in the passage? Let us continue reading. This made me relax. I told myself that the man was kind and was going to the same place we were heading. I was eager to see his kind face, but because he was driving, he had to look straight ahead. All I could see was the side of his face. After driving for a while, I noticed that we had not reached our destination. This was puzzling because the distance by car was quite short. I looked at the speedometer and realized that the man was driving at 120 kilometers per hour. But why were we not reaching home? I wondered. After what seemed like a never-ending journey, we reached home. We tiptoed to the doorstep and gently knocked on the front door. We waited for a while, and then a strange woman opened the door and let us in. Who are you? I asked in a voice full of fear. Don't be afraid, little one, she said. Your mother will be back soon. She asked me to remain here and wait for you in case you came back before she returned from the shop. Okay, now, can we go to Lerato? Seemingly you have something to say.
Well, sir, can we take a quick commercial break and then we'll come back and continue with our lesson?
I would love that.
No problem.
Yes.
Ligciwane le-corona lincane kakhulu, angeke ulibone ngemehlo enyama. Kuze liphile lidinga kunamathela kubantu. Leli gciwane lingena melula emphumulweni, emlonyeni kanye nasemehlweni. Ligciwane le-corona alikhethi, lingesuka kithi thine bantfwana liye kubatali kanye nabothishela. Lisengesuka kubo litekithi. Indlela yekulimisa leli gciwane kulivimba kuthi lisuke kulomunye liye kulomunye. Uma umuntu athimula noma akhwehlela, leli gciwane lihamba kanye nalamathonsi lapho makuloyo muntu. Uma uthinta lapho athimulele noma akhwehlelele khona, uyalibutha leli gciwane. Uma ke uthinta impumulo, umlomo noma emehlo, livele lingene kuwe. Ngakho ke umthetho wekucala, umthetho lomkhulu, geza tandla takho ngemanti lagijimako nangensipho njalo njalo. Uma uthimula, thimulela engcoseni yakho. Ungaqala ufake imino emphumulweni. Dikhweshise kulabanye bantfu ngesigaba lesiyimitha. Kepha lokusebenta kangcono kakhulu uhlale ekhaya. Uma sihlala emakhaya, leli gciwane alikhoni kuhamba.
Eswatini sibambisene kulwa nekwanza kweligciwane lecorona.
Well, grade 7's reading comprehension is my favorite, and I was always encouraged by mom to read. So I hope you're enjoying the lesson with Mr. Themba Dlamini. Mr. Themba, please continue.
All right, thank you. Welcome back from our short break. Now, before we went for the break, we had read some part of the passage, whereby now we are seeing these boys getting a lift from their friend's house. They are going back to their home, which is about 2 kilometers away from home. And then the driver is driving at about 140 kilometers an hour. And then these boys, we are seeing them reaching home, and they tiptoe to the doorsteps. Okay. Now, let us just go back to this paragraph here. It says this was puzzling. This was puzzling because the distance by car was quite short. Now, what does the word puzzling means? It is important, good people, that as you read, as I said earlier on, it is important that as you read, you also look at the new words so that you can be able to understand the whole passage. So what does puzzling means? So reading or looking at the context of the word puzzling, you can see that puzzling means confusing. This was confusing because the distance by car was quite short. And then we tiptoed to the doorstep and gently knocked on the front door. Tiptoed. Now, let me ask you a question back at home. Have you ever tiptoed yourself? Have you ever seen someone who used to tiptoe? Why do you tiptoe? Those are the questions you should ask yourself. So now, let us give the meaning of the word tiptoe. We are saying when you tiptoe, it is when you walk on the tips of your toes. Now, in most cases, you are going to tiptoe because you do not want other people to hear your footsteps. Like for instance, these 2 boys here, they were led at home and they didn't want their mother to notice that they are back. So they tiptoed to the doorsteps. And another thing that you should do as you read the passage, make sure you create mental pictures. Those mental pictures are going to make you enjoy and love what you are reading. And at the end, you are going to have a meaning. Now, let us continue reading. We were glad that we had finally reached home safely. We went into the kitchen and started clearing away the dishes we had left in the kitchen sink before going to play. We did not want to add to our mother's anger by not washing the dishes after coming home so late. Before we knew it, the woman had dished up 2 bowls of piping hot soup. We ate heartily as we were feeling really very cold. On that winter's night, after we had finished eating, we cleaned up and waited for our mother to come home. We waited for a long time, but she did not come. In the end, we both fell asleep on the sofa. When we woke up in the morning, we were shocked to find ourselves lying between 2 graves at the Nhlangano cemetery. Our clothes were torn and our buttocks were bruised and bleeding, as if we had been sliding on the rough road. I tried to speak to my brother, but the words wouldn't come. Now, let us look at this paragraph here. It says, we woke up in the morning. We were shocked. We were shocked to find ourselves lying between two graves at the Nhlangano Symmetry. What does the word shocked means? If the boy is saying they were shocked to find themselves lying between how many graves? Between two graves at the Nhlangano Symmetry. Remember, now they are not waking up in their mother's house, but they are waking between two graves, which is why they are shocked. So what does the word shocked means? If you are shocked, it means you are surprised that this is happening to you. You understand? You are surprised. So they were surprised to find themselves lying between those two graves at the Nhlangano Symmetry, with their buttocks bruised, bleeding, as if they'd been sliding on the rough road. Let us continue reading. He also tried to communicate with me, but all I could see were his lips moving. We took each other by the hand and crawled away from the place, for we were afraid. We felt so tired, as it was as if we had been working hard all night long. We crawled on all fours. We reached the side of the road. As it was morning, many people were rushing to work. We tried to speak to us for help, but still no words came out. When we decided to use signs to communicate, eventually one good Samaritan had pity on us and called the police. The police came and took us to the hospital in Tlatikulu, where we were observed by doctors for 3 days. On the 4th day, my speech returned. I managed to say in a whisper who my parents were, and the hospital nurses called them to the hospital. They arrived in no time and were shocked to see the state we were in. After a week, we were discharged from the hospital feeling quite well. We have not been visited by a ghost since that day in June. To this day, I cannot explain the events that happened that night. I cannot explain how we got to the cemetery and how we went to sleep there for a whole night in mid-June. That is the end of the passage. Now, before we can move on, let us just look at some words here which we think are going to make our vocabulary rich. For instance, in the paragraph on top, it says we crawled on all fours. What is to crawl on all fours? Now, when you crawl on all fours, remember I said you should visualize what you are reading. Now we are seeing the boys in our minds. They are walking on using their hands and their feet. So it means to crawl on all fours is to walk, or is to move using your hands and your knees at the same time. And then in the last paragraph, it says, eventually one good Samaritan had pity on us and called the police. What does good Samaritan means? A good Samaritan, we all know from the Bible, it is someone with a kind heart. So this person felt pity for the two boys and was able to help them. And then the last one is discharge. What is to be discharged? If you have been admitted in hospital and now you are discharged, what does the word discharge mean? So we are saying discharge means to be released from hospital. Now, once you have read and finished the story, what you need to do to see if you have understood what you have been reading, make sure you give a brief summary of what you have been reading about. There are many ways of presenting what you have been reading to see if you did understand. Now, in our screens here, you can see this diagram here. It easily makes you to be able to summarize the passage you have been reading to be sure that what you did understand it. Now, in the middle here, we have got the topic. So it means, therefore, in the middle, make sure you put the topic or the title of the story, the text or the passage you are reading. For instance, here, it is the Ghost of Matendele Township. Now from here, you move to look at who are the people who were involved. You look at the setting, you look at the setting of the story. Now, for instance, this one we are reading today, the Ghost of Matendele. You can see that the setting is Matendele Township, and then setting has to do with time also. It was in the evening in June. It was winter. As you read the passage, you can see that. Now, you need also to look at who were involved in the passage. That is going to make you see if you did understand what you were reading about. Those are the characters. For instance, in the passage we have just read, there are two brothers. There's Sitagele's mother. There's the driver, the strange woman who is the ghost in this case. There are people who are going to work. There are nurses in the hospital, doctors. There's the good Samaritan who helped the two boys. There is the two boys' parents who came to the hospital. And then also you look at, now I've read the passage. I've finished reading the passage. What was the problem that was in the passage? Now, for instance, with this one, you are going to see that the problem is that the two boys were mysteriously taken by the ghost to spend the whole night in a cemetery in Hlangano. If you are reading the passage sitting down, you will end up standing up because you were worried what was going to happen to the boys. That is the problem. And then lastly, you should look at the outcome or the results of the story. Now, in this story, you can see that the two boys were admitted in hospital. Remember, in the problem, I said we were very worried. Now, we are seeing the two boys admitted in hospital, and they are reunited with their parents, and they are discharged. Now, the ending of this passage is making us to be happy. Now, you can never be happy if you didn't understand the passage. Now, the next part, which is very important, when you are answering, when you have read a passage, is answering of questions. Now, before we can continue, can we go to Lerato? She has something to say.
Oh no, sir. I was saying 5 minutes left, so please try and wrap up your lesson.
All right. I hope my kids are enjoying it home. They are going to fight with you when you are taking all this time away from me.
They are, definitely.
All right. So I was saying, after you have made up your summary, then there is another part that is very important that comes at the end, which is the answering of questions. Now, before you can answer those questions, we normally say it is important to read instructions carefully. Read those instructions. They are very important. Okay. Now, there are 3 types of questions which you have to know today, so that as you continue reading your passages there at home, you are going to be able to know what kind of questions are the ones you are answering. So we are going to start with the first one. The first one is known as literal questions. Now, when we are talking about literal questions, we are talking about the ones which it is very easy to find their answers when you read from the passage. In fact, we normally say they are the WH questions. For instance, questions such as where, questions such as how, questions such as why. So those WH questions, they are literal. Why? Because you can easily find their answers when you read the passage. And then at some point in time, you should be very careful when we are answering those questions, because it is going to happen that a question is a WH question, such as this one, question 1A. It says, what kind of story is the story you have just read? It is misleading because it is starting with a WH question. So if if you read there, you are going to see that this is not a literal question, but it needs you to make your own judgment after reading the whole passage. It means this is an evaluative question. And then the last one is inferential questions, whereby you are going to read the whole passage and you cannot explicitly find the answer from the passage, but you need to make inferences until you arrive in the answer. So now, if you look at question number 8, question number 8 is an evaluative question, because here you are expected to give your own opinion. Let us read the question. It says, is it a good idea for children to ask for a lift from people they do not know, particularly in the evening? Explain your answer. So here, the child has to read and understand the passage and then make your own judgments. Okay. And then if you go to question number 7, it says, explain the following expressions as they are used in the passage. Now, with these questions here, that is question 7a up to E, you can never find the answer in the passage, but you are supposed to read the passage, understand it, and make inferences, and then that is why that is how you are going to arrive in the answer. So remember, I said there are 3 types of questions. There is literal questions, there is inferential questions, and also the last one, there is evaluative questions. So make sure that as you answer these questions in a test or in an exam, know these types so that you can know how to answer them. Now, if you go to number 2, it says, where were the children at the beginning of the story and what were they doing? Number 2b, how many children were playing together? Number C is, how are 2 of the children related to each other? Now, when you read these questions, you can remember that in the passage I did read about such information, which makes it easy for you to go and pick those answers from the passage. These are the most simplest questions ever. It means that therefore when you are answering these questions, I do not expect you to fail them because they are right there in the passage. So as you read, make sure you give yourself enough time to read the questions and understand them. And then when it comes to question 1a, remember I said this is an evaluative question. What kind of story is the story you've just read? You can go to the story, read from beginning to end, but there is never a sentence, a line, or a paragraph whereby they are talking about the kind of story this is. How do we arrive to the answer? For instance, here, the kind of story we are reading is a scary story, is an unbelievable story. How do we arrive on that? It is through the sequence of events from the beginning up to the end. Now, I hope you have enjoyed today's learning, and I hope it has helped you a lot. And then when we meet next time, we are going to continue from where we ended. Let me take you back to Lerato.
What a great lesson, sir. I really enjoyed it, and I'm sure the viewer at home also enjoyed the lesson. And what I learned from today is that I have to read, understand, and gain knowledge on the text before answering. Thank you very much for that, sir.
You're welcome.
Viewers, Nogwazi will be back, and she'll be taking the Form 3s for their admits lessons, so stay back.
Libito lami nginkosinathe Dlamini. Ngisebenta kwakhe ngiphindze ngilungise bosofa. Lapho ngisebenza khona, ngithintsana netintfo letinyenti. Ngiphindze futhi ngihlangane nebantfu labanyenti. Kungako kumcoka ukuthi tandla tami ngihlale ngekutigeza njalo. Geza tandla takho nawe njalo njalo. Kuhloba kwami yimpilo yami.
Kids, wash your hands so you can come in and have lunch.
Okay, Mom.
Tabo, apply some soap. You shouldn't just use water only.
But my hands aren't dirty, Nolwazi.
Just because your hands don't look dirty doesn't mean they're clean. We need to wash our hands regularly with soap and running water for at least 20 seconds, just like teacher taught us, so that all virus-causing germs and bacteria are washed away.
Tabo, listen to your sister, baby. It's important to always wash your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Like right now before we eat, after using the toilet, after touching animals, or after changing a nappy. We must also clean our surfaces and toilet seats with disinfectant.
Guys, it's time to wash our hands, wash our hands, wash our hands. Dirt and germs don't stand a chance. Germs bye-bye. First the water, then the soap, and you scrub all your palms. Scrub your fingers till they're clean. Rinse and dry.
Guys, I'm home.
Welcome back, honey.
This is your 1 p.m. news update brought to you by Victor Silombo. In the news today, we'll speak a little bit more about COVID-19, a disease that's infectious and causing problems all over the world. COVID-19 is an infectious disease caused by the coronavirus. The disease can spread from person to person through small droplets from the nose or mouth, which are spread when a person with COVID-19 coughs or exhales. These droplets land on objects and surfaces around the person, and other people then catch COVID-19 by touching these objects and surfaces, then touching their eyes, nose, or mouth. Here's a few simple precautions that you can follow to reduce your chances of being infected or spreading COVID-19. Regularly and thoroughly clean your hands with an alcohol-based hand rub or wash them with soap and water. Cover your mouth and nose with your flexed elbow or use a tissue when you cough or sneeze. Then dispose of that used tissue immediately in a dustbin. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Maintain a social distance of at least 1 meter between yourself and everyone else. Drink copious amounts of water to make sure your body is hydrated. And remember, if you develop a fever, a cough, or have difficulty breathing, call 977. Stay safe, stay home.
Kids, I hope you are listening carefully. It's very important that we take these precautions very seriously, so we all avoid catching or spreading COVID-19. So, we must stay home for our safety. Okay?
Yes, Dad.
Viewers, welcome back to Home Study. You are back with Nogwazi Dlamini, and at this moment we have Form 3 Additional Mathematics, and joining me in the studio is the teacher for the Additional Mathematics lesson, Mr. Stembiso Dlamini. Also joining us in the studio are our sign language interpreters, Toby Lefagutse and Linda Mamba. Stembiso, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm very well, Nogwazi. It's good to be here.
It's good to be back, actually, because you're back for the second time, isn't it?
Yeah, thanks.
All right. What is today's lesson? What is today's topic, actually?
Well, today we are looking at solving quadratic equations now using the graphical method. So
Okay.
basically that's what the lesson is all about today.
All right. A lot of people find that mathematics is really, really difficult, especially additional mathematics. Could you please encourage some of them by telling them what to expect from this lesson?
No, it should be their favorite subject. Now, but from this lesson, we expect the learner at home to be able to use the graphical method now to solve quadratic equations.
Okay.
As we know, there are many methods of solving equations, but today we are focusing on solving quadratic equations using the graphical method. So
Alright.
after the lesson today, the learner should be able to do that very well.
All right. Any material that they'll need specifically for this lesson?
Well, for this lesson, the learner should have a graph book or graph paper somewhere, and of course a pencil and an eraser, because we do anticipate that we'll be making mistakes there and there, so that it should be readily available.
Okay. From threes, I hope you heard that. Eraser, a pencil, and your graph books. And also a reminder from threes, we are live on YouTube and on Facebook, and feel free to ask any questions using those platforms and our WhatsApp number. Please text us any questions that you might have. Stembiso, it's over to you.
Thank you very much. Dear learners at home, today maybe we can start at asking ourselves now, why do we learn quadratic equations and so on? So this is mainly used now in engineering, like I'm sure you have seen in town where they are making water fountains. There are also roller coaster rides. They are also in the construction of bridges. And then now there are church buildings now, especially when they are designing the windows now. We see now applications now of quadratic graphs there. Now, moving on now, there is a picture that we have shown here. This is an example of a water fountain here. Now, but what we'll be focusing on today is the shape that the water is taking as it comes out of these pipes that we are seeing in the picture. So this is one typical application now of quadratic equations. Now, moving on, the objectives of this lesson, we expect the learner at the end to be able to draw a quadratic graph, and also we expect the learner to solve quadratic equations using the graphical method. That's very important. Now, the prerequisite knowledge now for this lesson, that is the knowledge that the learner must have in order to follow the lesson very well. It should be drawing now what we call linear graphs, and also, of course, collecting like terms, because these are the things that they will need now to know for them to follow the lesson very well. Moving on now, maybe to introduce the lesson now, we know that the general equation now of a quadratic equation is y is equal to ax square. I must highlight the ax square plus bx plus c, where a, b, and c are what we call now integers here. Now, an integer, dear learner, to remind you now, these are whole numbers, but we also include the negative numbers. So we'll be dealing with cases now where a, b, and c are integers. Now, we are saying a is the coefficient now of the squared term. That is the a here. This is the squared term. The x squared there is the squared term. And then now we also have b now being the coefficient. B, this is b there now is the coefficient of the middle term now. And the middle term is where the power of x is 1. And also now the c represents now what you call the constant term, which is what? The number that is there. The constant term is normally the number. You find that there is no x next to that one. Now, what we notice now about quadratic equations, that the highest power of x, should be 2 all the time. Now, maybe to demonstrate or maybe to give you a clear picture of what we mean by quadratic equations, we can look at a few examples here. Example number 1. What we are seeing here is a quadratic equation here, because you see that the 2 that is red here, the highest power in this equation now is 2, as you can see. And then now you can see here that our A is 2, and our B is 5, and our C is 3. And then the next example, number 2, we can see here the equation is y is equal to 4x squared. It means it is only one term. Now, what we notice here, the other terms now, the B and the C, is that B is 0, hence we don't see the middle term, and also C is 0. There is no constant term in this equation. Now, the third example here, y is equal to x squared minus 2x. What we see here is that there is no constant term in this one, which is an indication that C is equal to 0. And then now the last example that we want to look at now, y is equal to 5x cubed minus 2x minus 1. I'm sure if you can give yourself time, dear learner, you'll notice something here. Remember, we said that a quadratic equation or expression will have the highest power of x being 2. But what we notice in this equation here is that the highest power of x there is 3, which is telling us now that this is not a quadratic equation, because the highest power of x is 3. It is not 2. For it to be a quadratic equation, the highest power of x must be 2. And then now the general form now, because remember our objective today, it is to solve quadratic equations now. The general form now to the solution of a quadratic equation is that ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to k, where we are saying now the values of x, so we are looking for values of x where the graph, this graph, which has got this expression here, which is ax squared there, ax squared plus bx plus c crosses the line y is equal to k. It means now this k here is the same as y there. So it means now on the other side of the equation here, we're going to have this line which is equal to the quadratic graph, because this is an equation. So in simple terms now, when we are solving, we want to find the x coordinate. I must emphasize that where the graph of the quadratic equation, this quadratic equation on the left hand side, meets the graph of the equation on the right hand side. So basically when we are solving a quadratic equation, we are looking for that x coordinate where the two graphs intersect. Maybe we can look at an example. I think it is a good time now to look at an example now of solving a quadratic equation. Now, our example here, we are to draw the graph of yx squared minus x minus 2 for a range of values now from -3 to +4. So you can see here that we expressed now the values of x now by means of this inequality here, where we are saying now x is greater or equal to -3, less than or equal to 4, but less than or equal to 4, which is going to give us a range of values now, integer values, I must emphasize, of x. And then now we are to use this graph now. Use the graph is very important, that one. We are to use the graph to solve the equations, these three equations here. The first equation is x squared minus x minus 2 is equal to 0. So this 0 here is our k here, to say our k is equal to 0. And also the second one now, x squared minus x minus 2 is equal to 6, which means now in our general formula our k is 6. And then the last equation that we are going to solve in this example is x squared minus x minus 2 is equal to x minus 2. It means our k now is going to be x minus 2. Maybe now we can move on to demonstrate how we solve the equations. Now remember, the first thing now that we need to do, because we are using the graphical method now, it means therefore we must draw the graph. That's the first thing that we must do. We are going to draw the graph, and then now in order to do that, we need a table now of the coordinates that are needed, because for you to be able to draw a graph, you need coordinates. Now, it means therefore we need to have a table now where we are going to find the corresponding values of y, because we know the values of x are ranging from -3 to +4. Now to demonstrate, now we're going to demonstrate using 2 points now on how we get the corresponding value of y now in our table. Now the first point that we are going to use now is when x is equal to -3. What we do now, we substitute in the formula, this formula here that we are talking about, because it is the formula of the graph that we are going to use to solve these equations. So that now to get a corresponding value of y, we substitute this value of x, which is -3, into this equation here. Y is equal to x squared minus x minus 2. Now, as you can see, the one that is in red here, these are the values of x that we have substituted in the formula. So it means we have substituted -3 here and also -3 in that formula. Now, when that means we are going to have -3 squared as shown here, and also here we are going to have -3. Now, when you do that, we are going to have -3 squared. You know that it is 9, and then here we are going to have, because we have got a situation here now where we have a negative and a negative, which is going to give us the positive that we are seeing here, and then now -3, and then -2. So 9 plus 3 minus 2 is going to give us 10, which means now the corresponding value when x is -3, it is 10. Hence the coordinate is of the first point. The coordinate of the first point here is going to be -3, 10. We can also demonstrate now using the point x is equal to -2. When x is -2, I'm sure you can see in red here, we substitute in the same formula, that we used there. We substitute the value of x there, and then we know it's -2. After substituting there, the same way, -2 squared is going to give us +4 there, and then -2 is going to give us +2, and then when you subtract 2 there, you are going to get 4. So the next point there, the coordinate is going to be -2, 4. So this is what we are going to be doing now in all the points, because you know that values of x must range from -3 to +4. Now let's show now a table now where we have substituted all the values. Now I demonstrated now using these first two values here to say when x is -3, y is 10, and when x is -2, y is 4. Now you substitute the same values of x here in the formula, and this is what these are the values that you are going to get now, and then you present them by means of this table. And then now, so it means this table now is going to give us the coordinates that we are going to use now to plot the points for the graph. So that now to demonstrate now how we plot the points now, I've written the coordinates here for all the points as you can see here. So that now for the first point here, the coordinate is -3, 10. Now this is the point. Now you come to your graph here, -3, 10 is there. This is the point -3, 10, and then the point -2, 4 here. This is -2, -2, 4, and then the next point -1, 0, and so on and so forth. So that even the last point here, 4, 10. This is the point +4, 10. So 4, 10. So for each point now you put a cross now to say you are plotting a point for that point. And then now the next stage now, it is to join these points now using what we call now a smooth curve. Now here you can see that the points now are joined using a very, very smooth curve. So you need to be patient when you're drawing this curve, because it has to be smooth. Now, very important that one, because the solutions, because you are going to use this graph now to solve the quadratic equation. So your solution is going to depend on your accuracy in drawing this graph here. Now, moving on, maybe we can just interrogate a bit now the shape of the graph. Now you can see the shape of the graph as shown here in this previous slide. Now it is kind of U-shaped, like that, and then now the special name for this graph now is parabola. So we say the graph is parabolic, so it is a parabola. Now it can face up or face down depending on the value of a, that is the coefficient of the squared term, that is the squared x. in the general formula. When it is faces up, that is when it is U-shape, it is when A is positive, it's going to be U-shaped, and when A is negative, it is going to be shaped in this manner. So that now I felt it was very, very important for me to highlight that point, because sometimes the curve is going to be shaped U-shaped, it's going to be U-shaped, or sometimes it's going to be N-shaped. Nokwazi, you have something to say?
Yes. How about we just take a little bit of a break, maybe for you to have a water break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Viewers, will be right back after this.
Labanengi labangenwa ligciwane lecorona bavame kuba netimpawu letingasito letimatima njengebuhlungu bemphimbo, kuphathwa inhloko, kushisa nekubanza, kukhwehlela lokomile, kuphefumula kalukhuni kanye nekudzinwa. Kepha kulabanye kuba matima njengoba leli gciwane lihlasela emaphaphu. Ngesikhathi umtimba ulwa nalo leli gciwane wakheka emanti lagcwala emaphashini. Emaphaphu-ke angagcola emanti akuphefumuleki. Lokhu-ke kubanga tingcinamba letinengi. Kuthi khweshisa kulabanye kuyasita ekunciphiseni kwanza kwesifo i-COVID-19. Hlala ekhaya ungahambi. Eswatini sibambisene kulwa nekwanza kweligciwane lecorona.
A very warm welcome back to our viewers, and if you have just joined us, we are with the additional mathematics lesson right now, and Mr. Sthembiso Dlamini is taking the Form 3s through that. Sthembiso, I think I'll let you carry on with your lesson.
Thank you very much, Nokwazi. Now moving on now that we have successfully drawn our graph, now it is time to use that graph now to solve the quadratic equations that we are given now. To solve the equations now, the first equation that we are given was x squared minus x minus 2 is equal to 0, meaning our k now is the line y is equal to 0. So it means therefore now we are going to go to the graph now and look for the line y is equal to 0. And the line y is equal to 0, dear Lena, I'm sure you still remember that there is the x-axis. Now the line that is y is equal to 0 is the x-axis. So that now, remember we said in the beginning, to solve the solution to this equation now, those are the x-coordinates where now the two graphs are going to intersect. So we are going to look for the points now where the two graphs are intersecting. Now the x-axis, I'm sure you remember, this is the x-axis, just to remind you. Now we are looking for the points where now the x-axis now intersects with the graph y is equal to x squared minus x minus 2. And these are the 2 points, 2 points of intersection that we are seeing there. So that we can see that now the two graphs are intersecting at the point now where x is 2 and also here, and then also where x now is negative 1. So the solution to that equation now is going to be x is equal to negative 1 or x is equal to 2. So we have solved that equation. Now the next equation that we're supposed to solve now was this equation now, x squared minus x minus 2 is equal to 6, meaning our k now is equal to 6. That is the line y is equal to 6. It means therefore now in our graph now we need to draw the line y is equal to 6. Now the line y is equal to 6 now is a line that intercepts the y-axis now at 6. Now it is a horizontal line, that is, it is parallel to the x-axis now, but cutting the y-axis at the point 6. Now this is the point here, because if you look at your coordinates there, the point y6 is there. It means now the line must pass through that point. Now when that line passes through that point now, we therefore look for the points where the two graphs are going to intersect. Now, where the two graphs are intersecting now we need the x-coordinate there, which is going to be a solution now to our equation. So that now it means, therefore, now you go to the points where the two graphs intersect. The first point there that we can take is this one there, where these are intersecting, and then we are going to draw we are going to draw a straight line. Now it means now from this point we can draw a straight line now, and then read the corresponding value now in the x-axis. And also here you draw, of course, using your ruler, a line to the x-axis. So to the x-axis now, that is going to show the value of x now on the x-axis. Now it's very, very important that you are going to use your ruler now to draw that horizontal. It means that the two lines that you are going to draw from the graph where the two graphs intersect to the x-axis now are parallel now to the y-axis. That's why it's important that you use a ruler. Now if you are going to use that now, the first point here, it's going to be that point there, which is when x is negative 2.4, and then the other point on the other side now is going to be that point there when x is equal to 3.4. So that now the solution now to this equation now is going to be x is equal to negative 2.4 or x is equal to 3.4. Then lastly now where we want to solve the equation now, where now the value of k there is x minus 2. So it means it is the line y is equal to x minus 2. I'm sure you still remember how to draw a line using the gradient intercept form, y is equal to mx plus c. From here now, if we are saying y is equal to x minus 2, it means the value of the gradient here is 1, and then also the y-intercept is negative 2. So we know that the graph that we're going to draw must intercept the y-axis at negative 2. Now to get the other points now, we can just choose 2 points now that are in the range of the graph that we are using. And very importantly, when we are drawing this line, we also use the same scale that was used now to draw the graph that we have. So we can maybe choose the point where x is equal to let's say x is equal to 2. We can choose the point where x is equal to 2. If you substitute now, when we're drawing the line here, when x is equal to 2, it means y is equal to 0. And then the other point, because we know it must cut the y-axis at negative 2, as I'm showing there, it means the next point there, because we are saying here when x is 2, y is going to be 0, because 2 minus 2 is 0. So this is the next point. And then now you know that when you're drawing a line now, you need 3 points. Now the other point is used now to confirm. Maybe we can take a case where x now is equal to 4. When you substitute here, x is equal to 4, it's going to be 4 minus 2. So it's going to be 4 minus 2, which is 2. It means when x is 4, y is going to be 2 in this equation here. And then when is that? It means therefore you are going to plot the point, which is that point there. Now you have your 3 points that you are going to use now to draw neatly your line now using your ruler. And then this is the line that is shown there, that is drawn now to. And then now to find the solution now, we look for the points where this graph is going to intercept now our graph, where the line intercepts the graph. And then these are the 2 points here. These are the 2 points that we are seeing there, that where the 2 graphs are intersecting. Now you read now the x coordinate of that. At this point here, the first point here, the value of x is going to be 0 there, as you can see. And then in this second point, the value of x is 2. It means now the solution now to this equation now is x is equal to 0 or x is equal to 2. So we have solved all 3 equations. Now these are the solutions now to the equations. Now one thing that I also want to bring to your attention, dear learner at home, is that now the parabola now has one line of symmetry. That means, therefore, in our graph that we have, we expect the graph that we drew here, the graph that we drew at this point here, like this one that I have shown here, it has got, we are saying it has got one line of symmetry. It means, therefore, when you draw a line now, we expect the line now to cut the graph into two halves now. That are symmetrical. Those halves, we expect them to be symmetrical. So since this graph is U-shaped like that here, it means, therefore, you need to choose just 2 points. We can take on the x-axis negative, like we can choose this negative 1 and -2. Now you add these 2 points and divide by 2 now to get the middle part. That is to say, -1 plus 2, and then you divide that by 2. Now if you do that now, in the numerator there you are going to have 1, and then it's going to be 1/2. It means, therefore, the line of symmetry must pass through the x value when x is going to be half there, 0.5, somewhere there. So it's going to cut the graph, so that it's going to be the line of symmetry. So the point we are trying to emphasize here is that the line of symmetry must cut it at the middle. So for our example here, the equation of the line of symmetry is y is equal to 0.5. So I think I've shown you how you get the point. So the next thing that we want to do now, which would be the last one now, suppose now you are given this equation, and you are to solve it now using the same method that we have been using now. You are supposed to use the graph. It's very, very important. Using the graph, it's a very important instruction to solve. Now, what we notice now with this graph here, if you can look very well now, our graph, initial graph now, we have a situation where x squared minus x minus 2. But in the graph that, in the equation that we are to solve, there is -3 there. It means, therefore, there must be some rearranging that we do in the first equation, so that now we have this part of the graph. For us to be able to use the graph, we must have this part. So it means, therefore, we need to rearrange the first equation, such that now on the left-hand side we have got -2 instead of -3 in the constant term. So that we can do that now by adding 1 both sides. Remember the rule now for equations now, the balancing rule. Whatever you do on the left hand side, do it on the right hand side. So we add +1 on the left hand side, we must also add it now in the right hand side. Now what is going to happen there, when you add 1 here, you shall be left with the expression, we shall be left with the expression x squared minus x minus 2 on the left hand side, and then on the right hand side, because we added 1 to this 0 here, we're going to have this 1. So that now it is at this point that we can use the graph now, because now we have the expression of the graph on the left hand side. It is at this point that now we can use the graph to solve this equation that we are given. So that now the new equation now, it means now our k that we talked about is equal to 1. It means now we must draw the line y is equal to 1, and then look for the points of intersection to find the solution. Now this is the line now, what I've shown now, this is the line. As you can see, this is the line y is equal to 1. It's a horizontal line that must intercept the y-axis at the point 1 here. Now we draw this line and look for the points where it intersects the graph. These are the 2 points where it is intersecting the ground, the graphs. And then now, of course, then we are going to draw vertical lines now from the graph, vertical lines from the graph to the x axis, and also draw this vertical line, and then read these values on the x-axis. Now for the first point now, it is x is equal to -1.3, and also x on the other side is equal to 2.3. Now we have demonstrated now how to use the graphical method now to solve quadratic equations. Maybe to summarize the lesson now, remember in the beginning we said now the solution to the equation x squared plus bx plus c is equal to k is the values of x, very important, where the graph x square plus bx plus c crosses the line y is equal to k, and then the k is it is the graph on the other side of the equation. And then now we also emphasize to the fact that the name of the shape of the quadratic graph is now what? A parabola. And then also that the parabola has got one line of symmetry. That's very, very important. The next thing now is for your homework, because I'm sure you have been following very well. And then now, just to flex your muscles at home, I think it's also very important that you have some homework. You are to draw the graph y is equal to x squared minus 3x plus 4, and then the values of x are ranging from -1 to +5, hence this inequality here. And then now I've also guided you now, because I am the good teacher, to say to you, you are to use a scale of 1 centimeter to represent 1 unit. 1 unit in the x-axis, and 1 centimeter to represent 2 units in the y-axis. So it's very, very important to adhere to these instructions sometimes, because you are also now guided now by using a scale, because I'm sure you noted that in the examples that we used, there was no scale. It was just my discretion. So it's very important, therefore, to be able to use the scale, so that now you are to write down the equation of the line of symmetry and also use your graph to solve the equation. I hope you are going to enjoy this exercise while you are in the comfort of your home. With me, it has been a great time with you. Hope to see you next time.
Yes, we hope to see you next time, Mr. Dlamini, and thank you very much for that. The Form 3s, I hope you got that part of the homework and you'll be able to flex your muscles like Mr. Dlamini has said. Thank you so much for a great lesson. It always seems impossible until it is done, and character always consists of someone who gives their third and their fourth try. So mathematical equations are like that, I think. Eventually, if you keep trying, you'll be able to do it. Form 3s, I hope that you got that. Up next is my colleague Lerato Mabilisa with the Siswati Form 3 class with Ngobile Gwebu. We will be right back.
Wash your hands with soap and running water frequently to prevent COVID-19.
Avoid touching eyes, nose, mouth, shaking hands to prevent COVID-19.
Are you coughing? Are you sneezing or having headache? Make sure that you quickly go to the hospital. COVID-19 Corona. COVID-19 Corona.
Nebekunene sibhekene nemkhuhlane lo matima kakhulu, umkhuhlane we-COVID-19. Sisesikhatsini lapha wonke umuntu ufuneka atibuke yena ngokuthi ufuna kuphila yini noma ufuna kwentani. Uma ngabe ufuna kuphila kufuneka asukume aticabangele abone ukuthi yini lokufuneka yente sitamtshela ke thina ukuthi yini lokufuneka yente kufuneka ente lo lokushiwo nguhulumende la ku abambisene nelitiko letempilo la kamhlabuhlangene i-World Health Organization ukuthi bantu abahlale ekhaya phuma endlini nangabe kukhona sidzingo lesimatima lesingetulu kwemandla longeke usichubele embili sidzingo lesifana nokuthi sowuphuthuma kudokotela so sidzingo sokuthi mhlambe sekuphelene kudla endlini so ungakhona kuphuma ngaphandle kwaloko hlala endlini kwesibili sithi eMaswati akasite asebente indzaba yokuthi njalo na uvuka ugeze tandla uchubeko na usasebenza ugeze tandla ngesipho nemanti lahambako lokhu basitshela ukuthi kutawusita lempilo yokuthi legciwane lingakhoni ukuthuthuka liye empilo ngoba lihanjiswa ngumuntu alindize emoyeni lihanjiswa ngumuntu lokunye ngilokuhlala bucamama kunalomunye umuntu ube bucala nje ungahlali edudane nalomunye ngoba bathi liyathathelwana ngaleyo ndlela kufana nalabo laba banathe ebhodleleni linye mhlambe ngabe ninatha leso sinatho senu lesitawugcina sinijabulisa kanti sinibhekise kunibulaleni akume lokho bekunene ngoba lokho kutazivetela tingoti lokunye lesikushoko ngwekuthi ungayi lapha kunesicumbi khona ngoba ngilapha eticunjini lapha abantu batawuthola kona lo mkhuhlane bathelele labanye uhulumende ke solo wasebenta kuvikela sive nyalo sowufake indzaba yekuthi kube netimfonyo lesetifakwa kona uphuma endlini nangabe sikhona isidingo sokuthi usuke ekhaya kakho uye noma nguphi faka leso simfonyo kepha ungaseboleki lomunye umuntu noma ngabe umthanza kanganani noma ngabe usihlobo lesinjani na ungaboleki umuntu lomunye sifonyo lo sifakile wena ngoba awati ukuthi unani kungenteka bese uyamthelela noma ngabe bowati kepha nje akufanele kweboleka netifonyo
Eswatini sibambisene kulwa nekwanza kuligciwane lecorona.
Ngikubingelele mbukeli, ngiphinze ngikwemukele eluhlelweni lwethu lwekufundza usekhaya, pheceleti i-home study. Lubanjiswano emkhathini kwelitiko letemfundvo ne-Eswatini TV. Ngikubingelele make futhi ngikwemukele etindlini tetfu tekusakata.
Ngiyabonga Lerato, ngivusele nakuwe mfundzi ekhaya, mfundzi welibanga lemfica. Usesehlelweni lakho lokufundza usekhaya.
Oh okay manje sesivele sihlafuna lona phela lo lwakagogo make ngicela utshela umfundzi ukuthi kumcoka ngani ngoma kufanele ati ini ngalesifundo sanamuhla.
Sifundo sanamuhla mfundzi lapho ekhaya sitabe singekubhalwa kwendzaba licocako ekupheleni kwalesifundo mfundzi ngibhekile ukuthi ukhone kucecesheka ukhone kubhala indzaba licocako lebumbeke kahle bese ishaya khona esihlokweni.
Ngathi kusatoba mnanzi thishela. Ngaphandle kokumosha esikhathi mfundzi nawe thishela ngicela ukuthi sikhwele kiyo indzaba.
Ngiyabonga Lerato kakhulu. Ngiyethemba mfundzi ukuthi lapho ekhaya useselungele sona sifundo sethu sanamuhla so ukulungisile phela kokubhalela kanye nayo ipheni yakho yekubhala. Ngiyacela ukuthi mfundzi lokho ukulungise ngoba kumcoka kuze kuthi utokhona ukuthi noma sewuwedvana sekangasekho thishela ukhone kubuyekeda ukuthi sasingani lesifundo lesihle kangaka sendzaba lecocako. Ngicela sinake ke mfundzi naye imigomo yethu kafishane le yesifundo sethu sanamuhla naku lokubhekeke ukuthi ube ukwadi kusachubeka sona sifundo. Kwekucala mfundzi ngicela ukuthi unake kwekuthi ubhekekile kwekuthi ukhone kuchaza ukuthi iyini indzaba lecocako. Iyini indzaba lecocako kumele ukuthi ukwadi lokho mfundzi. Kwesibili ukhone kwehlukanisa indzaba lecocako kuletinye tindzaba. Kwesithathu kulandzela tinyathelo tekubhala indzaba lecocako. Bese kwesine kukhaliphisa likhono lekucamba noma kubumba indzaba lehlamu sakho. Bese kwekugcina mfundzi lobheke ukuthi ukwati ekupheleni kwalesifundvo ukuthi ukhone phela kubhala indzaba lecocako. Kwatise ukuthi utabe sowuvele uyifundzile uceceshekile ngayo. Lolu hlobo lwendzaba lesilifundza namuhla mfundzi luyavela ehlolweni lethu ephepheni lekucala kusiqephu A. Kubalulekile ukuthi tonke letinhlobo usafundza ngato unake lokuthi nguluphi luhlobo lasuke acele ukuthi umhloli ubhale ngalo. Kwekucala nje sinayo indzaba lecocako kulesiqephu A, siphindze sibe nayo indzaba lechazako, sibe nayo inkhulumiswano, sibe nayo indzaba lenika lwati, bese kugcina yona indzaba mbikiswano. Namuhla ke mfundzi sitabe sinake kabanti sijule endzabeni lecocako kwekuthi yona ihluke ngani letinye tindzaba. Asesicale ke mfundzi sibuke kwekuthi iyini vele gani indzaba lecocako. Kwekucala mfundzi lolu luhlobo lwendzaba loludzinga likhono lekuticambela. Kulendzaba lena usuke ucoca noma ulandzisa ngemvo loticambele yona, hayi imvo lovela omunye ayicoca noma lomunye la ake wayibona noma loke wayifunza noma ngikuphi encwadzini lethide. Kulolu hlobo lolwendzaba mfundzi ubhekeke kucoca kungaba ngemvo leyenteka. Ngicela ukunake mfundzi lo ukuthi uyacoca. Ucoca kungaba ngemvo leyenteka noma imvo loticambele yona. Ngakho ke naka mfundzi kwekuthi sonke isikhathi na ubhala lolu hlobo lolu lwendzaba ukhumbule noma ubhekekile kwekuthi usebentise sikhathi lesengcile noma lesenca ngobe usuke sewukhuluma ngemvo leseyendeka. Tigigaba ke mfundzi nalokwenteka endzabeni akulandzelane kahle. Nasikhuluma ngetigigaba sisuke sikhuluma ngaloku lokwenteka kulendzaba yakho. Uyachaza ke ukuthi tilandzelana kanjani usabhala indzaba yakho noma usayicoca. Kube kahle kube ngilokukholwa kalako. Asengichaze kafisha ke mfundzi nasikhuluma ngemvo lekholwa kalako. Ibalekele imvo lesanganekwane noma indzaba letawenda kwekuthi lofundza indzaba yakho angakholwa ukuthi kwenteka mbamba yini lendvo leyo. Ngibekise nje kunesibonelo sami la njengoba usibona mfundzi ngeke kwekuthi ungathi tigebengu bese tikubambile wabathe cala wabona ukuthi kuti indlela yekuphunyula wasuyamemeta ngelivi lelikhulu wathi mhlaba vuleka wavuleka vele watimita tonke tigebengu. Kude imvo lenjalo mfundzi lokho nje inganekwane kude umuntu longavele akhulume ukuthi umhlaba uvuleke bese umhlaba uyavuleka so yatimita tonke tigebengu. Sitawukhumbula ke mfundzi esifundweni sethu lesenca lapho khona sasifunza ngako phela kubhalwa kwendzaba siyethula kwekuthi ima kanjani indzaba iyonke nje njengoba sesitibukile tonke letinhlobo letinye lesike satibala ngemuva. Kunetingoni mfundzi indzaba nje yonke iba netingoni letine lekumele utinake njalo nawubhala ubuke ukuthi ubhala njani kulolu hlobo lolu lwendzaba nawubhala sihloko sakhona. Sitawuqala nje sibuke kunesihloko lokuyingoni yekucala, kwesibili siba nesingeniso endzabeni, kwesithathu indzaba kumele ibe nemtimba bese kwesine indzaba yakho kumele ibe nesiphetho. Lokhu kumcoka ke mfundzi ukuthi ukunake sonke isikhathi nawubhala indzaba. Namuhla nje sitabe sibuka indzaba lecocako kwekuthi yona ima kanjani noma letingoni iticamisa kanjani nawusabhala lolu hlobo lolu lwendzaba. Ucoca phela mfundzi. Sitawuqala sibuke ingoni yekucala lekusihloko sayo phela indzaba. Kumcoka mfundzi kwekuthi yonke indzaba ibe naso sihloko. Usihloko sethu mfundzi sivamisa kusukela embutweni losuke ubutwe wona. Uvisise kahle ke mfundzi umbuto wakho ungakayibhali indzaba yakho kwekuthi ubhekeke ukuthi ubhale ngani kulolu hlobo lolo lwendzaba. Naka ke mfundzi ukuthi tiyehlukana tinhlobo temibuto yendzaba lecocako. Lesinye sihloko nje singavele siconze ngco uvele ubhekeke ukuthi usibhale njengobe ubutiwe kulowo mbuto. Asesibuke nasi sibonelo kanye kanye. Umlilo lo wasishiya simangele. Kulolu hlobo lolu mfundzi lwesihloko ngilesihloko lesithi sivele siconze ngco awukabhekeki ukuthi ushintshe lawo magama losuke uniketwe wona uyawabhala uwabuyisele njengobe anjalo lawo magama lawo. Khumbula ke mfundzi ukuthi safundza phela ngetindlela tekugqamisa yona indzaba yethu. Safundza ukuthi sihlindlela yekucala yekugqamisa sihloko kungaba ukuthi usibhalile ngabofeleba. Njengoba usibona sibonelo sami umlilo lo wasishiya simangele. Nase usibhalile sihloko sakho ngalolu hlobo lolu lolukhethile mfundzi awukabhekeki ukuthi usidvebele. Ngoba wena ukhethe ukuthi usibhale ngabofeleba. Ngakulokunye na usibhale ngelihlavu leluncane uyasidvebela mfundzi kanje umlilo lo wasishiya simangele. Asesibuke nali ke mfundzi lolunye luhlobo lwembuto loluba khona uma ukuthi ubhale indzaba lecocako ngalo. Kunetibonelo tami la. Sibonelo sami sekuqala sithi bhala indzaba lecalisa nganawa emagama. Ngayaluka lidolobha lonke nani kuyibona indvodza. Naka ke mfundzi ukuthi kuthitiwe bhala indzaba lecalisa ngalamagama. Akusiso sihloko lamagama losuke uniketwe wona. Lamagama lawa ekuthi uwasebentise ekuqaleni njengobe umbuto sowuvele ukucacisele kwekuthi waqalisa ngawo lamagama nawubhala indzaba yakho. Lokunye kwesibili mfundzi nasibonelo sethu bhala indzaba lesebentise lamagama lathi ngenda liphutha lelikhulu kuthi ngimtshele lemfihlo yami lengaka. Nakuthitiwe bhala indzaba lesebentise lamagama. Naka mfundzi kwekuthi nakhona sihloko uyatakhela. Lamagama sekukuwe ukuthi uwasebenzisa kanjani, ungaqala ngawendzabeni yakho, ungawafaka emtimbeni wendzaba yakho, ungawafaka esiphepheni sendzaba yakho. Ngoba kuthi diwe wasebenzise awubese ke wena sewuwenda sihloko lawo magama lawo. Sakho sihloko uyatakhela ubuke ukuthi ingabe vele singathini usebenzisa lamagama losuke unikete wona. Sekugcina sibonelo mfundzi singasho ukuthi bhala indzaba legcina ngemagama lathi kufa ngiyakwesaba. Kunake mfundzi lokuthi kuthitiwe indzaba legcina ngemagama lathi kufa ngiyakwesaba. Nakhona khumbula mfundzi ukuthi solo uyatakhela sihloko. Dimbili ke letinhlobo lebese ngikhulume ngato kunalesi lesiconze ngco bese kuba nalapho khona ubhekeke ukuthi utakhele sakho sihloko. Asichubeke mfundzi sibuke ingoni yethu yesibili. Kule ngoni yethu yesibili ngilapho khona sesithi kusesingenisweni sendzaba. So uyaqala ke manje uyayicoca indzaba yakho noma uyayibhala indzaba yakho. La esingenisweni noma nasichaza singeniso siye sithi siyinzima yekuqala endzabeni. Kumele kwekuthi singeniso sakho sibe namthonseni kuze sente lofundzako alangatelele kuyifundza. Naka mfundzi leligama lelithi asibe namthonseni. Masikhuluma ngamthonseni lelinye ligama lesingalisebenzisa nginaligama lelithi inghaphungaphu. Lona lofundzako atoba nenghaphungaphu yekuthi achubeke ayifunze phela noma ayilalele lendzaba yakho. Lo mthonseni ke ubangwa uvetwa yini? Mthonseni uvetwa yimibuto levelako noma leyakhekako engqondweni yalofunza indzaba yakho asafunza lesingeniso sakho. Lokunye mfundzi lekumele ucaphele usabhala singeniso sakho, caphela ukuthi ungayicethi indzaba yakho esingenisweni. Ungayicethi indzaba yakho esingenisweni. Lokumele ukuthi ikwende isingeniso sasikwende kuthi sikunike nje luhala kuphela. Nangilofundzako athole lo luhala kwekuthi ingabe vele lendzaba ibhekephi. Musa ke wena bese sowufuna kuyicetha yonke esingenisweni sakho indzaba. Asesibuke nasi sibonelo kanye sesingeniso. Usanaka nekwekuthi asikhweshi phela esihlokweni sakho losuke uniketwe sona. Kwakubumayemaye ekhaya kaZotha emalunga emndeni abeshayisana ngetinhloko ashaqekile. Bantfu kwasekuvele kunyakatela babulala inyoka. Wonke lobe akhona lapho abedidekile kakhulu ngalenhlekelele lebe yehlele lomndeni. Ngiyethemba ukuthi mfundzi nawe sewunayo imibuto lapho ekhaya kubuta ukuthi ingabe vele kwagcina kwentekeni kutawukwentekani la kulenza kwentekeni kahle kulesingeniso usasifunza nje uyamthola mthonseni lokungila imibuto lengishido ukuthi iyakheka engcondweni yalona lofundzako asayifunza indzaba yakho. Khumbula ke mfundzi ukuthi sithite ngale kulesingeniso kwakubumayemaye. Leli gama leli selivele lisinika umcondvo ukuthi kukhona lokungahambi kahle. Uyadibuta ke wena usafunza lendzaba ukuthi ngabe yini nayi lengahambi kahle kunalikhaya lakaZotha. Siyabona ukuthi bebashayisana ngetinhloko bashaqekile. Bantfu kwasekuvele kunyakatela. Kunekudideka lokukhona lokuvelile esingenisweni. Ngo kanye lokutawuphindze kuvete umbuto kuwe usafunza ukuthi ngifuna kubona ukuthi yini lele banga lokudideka kulomndeni. Phindze ngifuna kubona ukuthi ngabe nhlekelele yini lena lebeyehlele lomndeni wakaZotha. Lokunye mfundzi esingenisweni khumbula phela ukuthi singeniso asiyithinze imizwa. Njengalapha nje kuyavela ukuthi bekulusizi kulesingeniso lesesibuya kuso. Lokunye isingeniso sakho asitivete titfombe emcondvo njengekuthi bumayemaye. Leso sithombe emcondvo lesivakalako. Kushayisana ngetinhloko leso sithombe emcondvo lesibonakalako. Lokunye lesikubonile esingenisweni sethu siyasiveta sihloko. Bhala sakho ke nawe mfundzi singeniso lapho ekhaya usebenzise lobuciko lesengivele ngikunikete bona kuthi nawe sakho singeniso phela sibe naye mthonsene mfundzi. Sisachubeka ke nesifumvo sethu sanamuhla mfundzi sendzaba lecocako. Indzaba lecocako nayo iba nawo umtimba. Lapha emtimbeni mfundzi indzaba yakho seyakhula. Naka ke mfundzi leli gama lekukhula. Nayikhula ikhula njani? Itawukhula ngekuthi usebenzise tinzima sewuyaqoqa ngalokwentekile ngekulandzelana kwetigigaba sowuhlela imicondvo yakho ngetinzima. Asengibekise nje mfundzi. Nasikhuluma ngekukhula kwendzaba. Musa phela kulingisa lomunye lowake naye wangamcela ngathi akangicocele indzaba. Wavele wangicocela indzaba ngetinyosi lebetigubhe umgodi lomudze. Ngathi ngiselalele washo wathi kwakukhona tinyosi letagubha umgodi lomudze. Tiphuma tingena. Diphinze diphuma diphinze tingena. Ngathi nangigasile ukuthi iyachubeka indzaba. Wabe anwa inhloko waphinze wachubeka wathi letinyosi tatiphuma tingena. Diphinze diphuma diphinze tingena. Ngasase ngichubeke ngilalele wabe solo asho njalo ukuthi taphuma ke tangena. Uyabona ukuthi ayichubeki lendzaba leyo lo mumfu solo umenza wonye ukhuluma ngekuphuma kwetinyosi ukhuluma ngekungena kwetinyosi. Musa kukwenda ke mfundzi caphela ukuthi ungakwendi wena na usakhulisa indzaba yakho. Tinzima takho kumele telamane kahle. Inzima inye imumathe ingcikithi levetiwe. umusho wekucala ngona ke uveta ingcikithi. Sibona ngawo ukuthi leyo nzima itokhuluma ngani. Nasi ke sibone lo mfundzi lesisembi kwakho. Emalangabi emlilo abesolo alavuke njalo. Kwase kushe lonke luhlobo lwefenisha lwemali leshisiwe lobo ngalucabanga. Intfutfu yaseyishunqa kubonakala nje ukuthi bamfana bazotha basele ebaleni kuhle kwenhlanti ishelwe ngemandi. Sathi singakateleli kwabe kulumeka lenye indlu solo beticima mlilo bangakafiki. La kulesibonelo sami ke mfundzi lenzima lesengikubekisele ngayo. Umusho wekucala sewuvela usivetele kwekuthi ingcikithi ngumonakalo lowadalwa ngomlilo. Mina ke njengemfundzi lotawufunza indzaba yakho sengivele nginawo umcondvo ukuthi lokulandzelako lapho wena sota nginiketa ukuthi emalangabi indzini lasolo alavuke njalo atawugcine aphethelepi. Ngoke sitawuva ukuthi sekushe ifenisha. Ngo sitawuva ukuthi sekulumeke lenye indlu. Ngoba sengutholile umcondvo ekuqaleni ukuthi lamalangabi akanamkhawulo ayavutha ayalavuka akhomba kona ukuthi le akakemi kukhona la kakuhlosile noma kukhona lomlilo lapho utawugcine uphethele khona. Kulesihloko lesikhuluma ngaso nje mfundzi lengunikete sona sihloko lengithite umlilo lo wasishiya simangele. Ngunati ke tingoni longatithinza kuthuthukisa ke indzaba yakho. Letinye nje longatithinza usasangena emtimbeni wendzaba yakho yonke. Ungakunaka ungayithuthukisa indzaba yakho ngekuthi ubuke sisusa semlilo noma wenabe kabanti ukuthi kwaba yini lesisusa semlilo. Lenye indlela mfundzi longanaba ngayo emtimbeni wakho kungaba ukuthi uyasivetela umonakalo kuthi wabanganani. Mhlambe kungaba ngilokwasha, kungaba bamfula bafa, kungaba ngilokunye nje longabe udingetele kona. Lokunye ungabaveta ukuthi bobani labakhinya bedwa ngilomlilo. Solo wedama kukhulisa indzaba yakho. Mhlambe ungaluveta nelusito kulabakhinya bedwa ngumlilo ukuthi sito luni labalutfola naba lesithite bakhinya bedwa ngumlilo. Ngiyethemba ukuthi mfundzi sisachubeka nesifumvo sethu nawe lapha ekhaya uyatendela so uvele uyabuka ukuthi ngutiphi ke wena indlela otatisebenzisa kuthuthukisa lesihloko lesithi umlilo lo wasishiya simangele. Kunelulwimi ke mfundzi lekumele ulicaphele usesemtimbeni wendzaba yakho noma usabhala indzaba yakho yonke. Kuba mgcoka mfundzi ukuthi lulwimi lolisebenzisako kube ngilolithintsana ngqo nesihloko. Njengekuthi na ukhuluma ngemlilo njengoba ngibekisile ukuthi namhla sitakhuluma ngemlilo noma sicoce ngemlilo. Kuvete phela mfundzi ukuthi umlilo uyahuma. Kuhuma kwemlilo. Awusugijima umlilo ngoba umlilo ude tinyawo. Umlilo siye sithi ngesiswati uyahuma. Emagama nje longawasebenzisa ungasho ukuthi umlilo wahuma. Kwachachamba tinhlase, kuchachamba kwetinhlase. Mhlambe nalebo bumayemaye ungabuveta ngoba emlilweni ngeke bese sokuthi wena wonke abefile luhleko agegedzeka. Siyathi ukuthi la kunemlilo khona kuvele kube khona kukhala. Bhala ke mfundzi usho ubuvete amagama lafanane ukuthi bumayemaye. Ukuvete nekushunqa kwentfuthu. Ungakuveta naloko kulavuka kwemalangabi lebese sike sakuthinza. Lokunye mfundzi lekumele ukucaphele elulwimini lakho tinongo. Lulwimi lwakho akube ngilolunothile. Nasikhuluma ngekunotha sisho ukuthi sebenzisa phela tisho netaga kunonga indzaba yakho kuthi uyende ibe mnanzi ibe nemfutho kunangu lolalele kunangu loyifundzako indzaba yakho usayicoca mfundzi. Dinake ke tisho netaga timcoka kakhulu. Kule nzima yami lengibekise ngayo nje mfundzi. Sivetile kwekuthi Bantwana bakazotha basele ebaleni kuhle kwenhlanti ishelwe ngemanti. Loko kusisho mfundzi kuyaveta ukuthi wena uyasathi isiswati lulwimi lwakho lunothile nakulona lofunza indzaba yakho kuyabe sekuba mnanzi kuthi icosololo ngoba uyeva ukuthi nyalo kubhale umfana weliswati kubhale umfana loyatiko imvo lakayendako nakathi nje sathi singakateleli kungakateleli angakagazi siyathi ukuthi umlilo yimvo leqhamuka vele ungakagazi sathi singakateleli kwabe kulumeka lenye indlu nakhona lapho mfundzi solo uyanonga indzaba yakho uyetama kwekuthi uyende ukuthi ibe nemfutho ibe mnanzi kunangu loyifundzako kunangu lolalela atokhona phela kuyilandzelela kahle lendzaba yakho. Lokunye mfundzi sisachubeka nesifumvo sethu umsebenzi wakho phela khumbula ukuthi ubhala ngesandla lesihle. Unake tibitelo kube nguletingito. Utibalekele tiphosiso. Utibalekele tiphosiso ngoba tiyawona umsebenzi wakho bese awusabi ngilohlamsako awusabi ngilomuhle kunangu losuke afunza indzaba yakho. Butse benzaba yakho mfundzi khumbula ukuthi akube ngulobo lobubhekekile. Ngiyacela ke mfundzi kunaliphuzu lengifuna kulichaza nyalo letimphawu tekubhala. Tinake mfundzi timphawu tekubhala utisebentise ngendlela lefanele. Nasikhuluma ngetimphawu tekubhala sisuke sikhuluma ngekusebenta kwabongci, ngekusebenta kwembuti, ngekusebenta kwembabati, ngekusebenta kwakhefani. Kumcoka ngani ke lokho mfundzi? Lokho ukuthi timphawu tekubhala utinake. Tiyamsita lona lofunza indzaba yakho. Lokho ukuthi nje uhle uma kumenda ukuthi ayilandzelele kahle indzaba yakho. Ngicela kulesikhashana mfundzi nginikete. Ngiyacela ke mfundzi ukuthi sichubeke sisanaka ukuthi timphawu tekubhala timcoka kangakanani. Lana mfundzi masinaka timphawu tekubhala ngiyafananisa nemoto lesikorokoro ukuthi nangu umshayeli ushayela imoto isikorokoro uhamba emgwaqweni lolugangathu ehlane akunatimphawu akunani so nawe na ubhale indzaba lete timphawu uyafanana ncamashi nanangu umshayeli lo hamba ashayela imoto lengakalungi kahle lesikrepa noma lesikorokoro ahamba nayo napha emgwaqweni nawo longakhanyi kahle ukuthi ubhekapi lo mgwaqo loyo nawe ke nawe ungakade sebenzisa timphawu tekubhala kahle mfundzi uyafanana ncamashi nalo mshayeli wemoto lesikorokoro ngoba lona lotawufunza indzaba yakho utawumenda kwekuthi angakhoni kuyilandzelela alahleke asayifunza aphelelwe ngumfutho wekuyifunza ngoba timphawu utisebenzise kabi. Asigijime mfundzi sibuke isiphetho nasikhuluma ngesiphetho sikhuluma ngenzima yekugcina endzabeni. Esiphethweni awukavumeleki ube usacoca lutho mfundzi ngicela ukunake lokho awukavumeleka usacoci ngoba phela sowucocile esingenisweni nasemtimbeni lapha usuke sewuyisonga indzaba yakho kungaba ngiloke wakuthinta esingenisweni noma emtimbeni nemoya wendzaba mfundzi ngicela unake umoya wendzaba nesihloko loniketwe sona nangabe njengalezihloko sefu lesicale ngaso sekuthi umlilo lo wasishiya simangele nalona lofunza komende kwekuthi naye agcine amangele amakacetha kufunza noma acetha kulalela leyo ndzaba yakho njengokuthi sibonelo nje kwasa kunoma ngibani ngalelo langa ukuthi ngempela buhlungu abumbulali umuntu ngubani nje lo bengacabanga ukuthi sincanyana seligwayi besingadala umonakalo wekushisa likhaya lonke lingconce pho ke lebese kwentekile kwase kufana nalokudaliwe lana siyabona mfundzi ukuthi soyisongile umbhali indzaba yakhe soyisongile seyifike emaphethelweni la ke mfundzi kumele ukuthi ucaphele ngiyagcizelela ungasayicoci indzaba yakho soyasonga nje ukuthi kwagcine kwentekene njengoba sivedelo nje lapha kusilikhaya lasha langconca kubangwa yini umlilo ubangwe isincamo seligwayi so kuyavele kuyamcacela ke nalofundisa indzaba yakho ukuthi ha nembala vele lendzaba iyamangalisa sengephetha ke mfundisi esifundweni sefu sanamuhla angicizelele ukuthi indzaba yakho sithide iba nesihloko le kufuna ukuthi lesihloko lesi usayibhala indzaba yakho ungasuki kuso usinamathele kuso usayibhala indzaba yakho uze ufike emaphethelweni ayo. Lokunye khumbula mfundzi ukuthi sihloko sakho phela sewusibhala ngana indlela lebhekekile lesichazile ukuthi dimbili indlela tekuyigcamisa indzaba yakho noma sihloko sakho. Ungasigcamisa ngekuthi usibhale ngabofeleba, ungasigcamisa ngekuthi nabo usibhale ngelihlavu lolincane udwebele. Nguloko ke mfundzi lekumele unake esihlokweni sakho na ubhala indzaba. Sibuye ke mfundzi sikhumbutane sivukile singeniso lokumcoka lesikuthinzile esingenisweni sithe singeniso sakho mfundzi asibe namdvonsene. Ngiyethemba utawukhumbula ukuthi mfonseni sithite wakhiwa yini. Mfonseni wakhiwa ngule mibuto levelako usasibhala singeniso sakho. Nange mfonseni njengoba sisho ukuthi wakhiwa ngule mibuto levelako nakacetha kufunza lona lofunza indzaba yakho. Umtimba wendzaba yakho mfundzi lesikuthinzile lokumcoka lengithanga ukukhumbute sisithe phela awuhleleke. Tinzima takho atihleleke tilandzelane kahle ukucilikele kusebentisa kahle timphawu tekubhala. Khumbula ke mfundzi ukuthi esiphethweni sendzaba awukavumeleki kuchubeka nekucoca indzaba ngoba seyifike emaphethelweni. Ngiyacela ke mfundzi ukuthi kulesikhathi ebhukwini lakho lapho ekhaya ungibhalele nango umsebenzi. Ubhale yakho indzaba sishito ukuthi ngibhekile ukuthi ngidawufuna ugcine ungibhalele yakho ke nawe indzaba ulandzelele tingoni lese ngikuchazele ngato ukuthi kunesihloko, kunesingeniso, kunemtimba, kunesiphetho. Nawe ke mfundzi ngiyacela ungibhalele yakho indzaba ibe ngemagama langu 200 kuya 250 emakhulu lamabili kuya emakhulwini lamabili nesihlanu. Ngesihloko lesithi ngaphunyula ngenhlanhla. Ngaphunyula ngenhlanhla. Ngiyacela ke mfundzi ukuthi ucilikele ukuthi utinake tonke letinyathelo lesikhulume ngato timcoka endzabeni. Ngito letitenda ukuthi lofunza indzaba yakho akhone ukuthi ayilandzelele, akhone ukuthi ibe nemfutho, akhone ukuthi ihlamuse leyo ndzaba yakho. Nangabe utatilandzela kahle tonke leto tingoni leto. Ngiloko mfundzi lebe nguphathele kona endzabeni lecocako. Siyabonga.
Sibonga kakhulu kuba nathi namhla Miss Gwebu futhi ngethemba umfundzi ukuthi kukhona la kufundzile kulesifundo sethu sanamhla ngoma nami ngifundzile ukuthi ukhona mfundiseni kiyo indzaba. Mfundzi lolandzelako nguNokwazi Dlamini lotabe a presenter emahlelo lalandzelako aka form 5.
Kukhona imbiko leseyivela yekuthi sive sesicale kubolekana ema-mask. Namuhla besikhuluma nesive sisiloyo lophumela ngaphandle akafake i-mask atovikela lomunye kumkhuhlane naye avikeleke ukuthi lomyena kathimula angangenwa ngumkhuhlane. Lese kwenteka ke nebekunene ukuthi la emabhasini kuyevakala ukuthi lomunye usinakehla aboleke lomunye i-mask. La uyithatha le mask lomunye uyibeka ebusweni bakho nangabe bekana lomkhuhlane we-COVID nangabe bekane TB so utifakele wena ngalokuthi uthathe le mask yalomunye umuntu uyibeke ebusweni bakho. Siyacela kulabo emabhasi na instruction lesebiya etiko letempilo ukuthi asikho isidingo sokuthi umuntu lode i-mask agibele ebhasini afakise i-mask ngenkani. Asikho leso sidingo ngoba lokubolekana lama-mask ngikona lokubhebhedelisa lomkhuhlane kakhulu. Kungcono lokuthi ungene ebhasini ugeze tandla takho tihlobile uhambe uyotihlala lapha uhlala khona kunekuthi uthathe i-mask longayathi ukuthi ibuyaphi uyifaka ebusweni bakho. Lokunye lokuvakalako ukuthi laba labathengisa lama mask lapha etimarket umuntu uyafika athathe imask ayilinganise ayibeka athathe lenye ayilinganise lele kayisusa la ebusweni ayishiya phasi nangabe una covid wena lo tayithatha so udithelele lo covid bekunene ema mask awabolekwana lama mask endvangilawa awabolekwana sive siyalimala nje ngekuthi bantu babolekane ema mask awabolekana ema mask nawude imask hamba uyongena ebhasini utihambele kahle na usekhaya kodwa na unemkhuhlane siyakhuthata usuyifaka imask kodwa la indleleni nawude imask ungayisebenzisi yalomunye ungayiboleka imask ngiyacela sive singive kahle setama lapha nebekunene kuvikela umkhuhlane ukuthi singathathelani kodwa nangisuka mine nguboleka le mask yami naye lebesolo ngiyigcokile lokhu bekulakimi nangifake le mask utakuthatha uyokufaka etimphumulweni takho kuye emaphashini akho ngaleso sikhathi nine bekunene kungumonakalo lomkhulu lo siyakukhuta siyasicela sive singive kahle nawude imask usede imask ungayigcoki yalomunye na ungacabanga nje ukuthi ungena ebhasini wafaka imask longayati usibuyaphi la uhamba khona siyawuthelela labanye lo muntu otayithatha emva kwakho utawuthatha leyo mask naye ayifake athathe lo mkhuhlane awuthelela labanye wena uwedwa lobe nalo mkhuhlane ungathikhaza ukuthi kuleli langa linye nje so ufakele abantu bafika le 50 siyacela nene bekunene ema mask awabolekwana lama mask lawo ngiko lokho besikhutsata usekhaya nalo nize nibhale igama lemuntu nangabe atiyafanana letindvangu ema mask awabolekwana nebekunene emabhasini indawo khona khamba ningayifaki imask ungavumi ukuthi umuntu akunika imask longayadi ukuthi ibuyaphi awabolekwana ema mask nebekunene ngiyona ndlela yokuhambisa umkhuhlane ngendlela lesingeke siphinze sikhone kuyicontrola sisive siyanicela nebekunene ukuthi angabolekwana ema mask.
COVID-19 is an infectious disease caused by a new coronavirus introduced to humans for the first time. It is spread from person to person, mainly through the droplets produced when an infected person speaks, coughs, or sneezes. These droplets can land in the mouths or noses of people who are nearby. These droplets are too heavy to travel far in the air. They only travel approximately 1 meter and quickly settle on surfaces. This is the reason person-to-person spread is happening mainly between close contacts. The exact time that the virus can survive on surfaces is not yet known. So it is wise to clean surfaces regularly, particularly in the vicinity of people infected with COVID-19. Hands touch many surfaces, which can be contaminated with the virus. You should therefore avoid touching your eyes, nose, or mouth, since contaminated hands can transfer the virus from the surface to yourself. When coughing or sneezing, cover your mouth and nose with the bend of your elbow or use a disposable tissue. If a tissue is used, discard it immediately into a closed bin. The most effective way to prevent the spread of the new coronavirus is to clean your hands frequently with an alcohol-based hand rub or soap and water. This will eliminate the virus if it is on your hands. Stay healthy and prevent the spread of COVID-19.
A very warm welcome back to our viewers, and if you have just joined us, it is the Form 5's lesson now, which is religious education with Nompumelelo Dlamini, and also joining me in the studio at the moment is Nompumelelo Hadebe and Zanele Mota, who are going to be our sign language interpreters. Nompumelelo, how are you doing this afternoon?
I am very well, thank you, Nokwazi. I am not Nompumelelo, I am Mpumelelo.
Oh, sorry, Mpumelelo. It's funny how we just found out that we know each other, but hey. So, Mpumelelo, can you please tell us about today's lesson, what it is about, and what you expect your learner to have learned by the end of this lesson?
Okay. So now, today's lesson is on the appointment of Matthias. But before I proceed with today's lesson, please make sure that your notebook and your RSV Bible is with you. And in your RSV Bible, please open Acts chapter 1, verses 15 to 26. Those are the verses that we will be focusing on today. Now, let us look at the rationale. Why is it important for you to learn about the appointment of Matthias? So, the rationale is that you should be able to understand the significance of the number 12. Remember, now, in today's session, you will find that Judas Iscariot will kill himself or killed himself. So, his office had to be filled, and that's the significance of the number 12. And biblically, the number 12 represent, or it symbolizes, perfect completion. Why is that? If we go back to the Old Testament, you will find that there are 12 tribes in Israel, and every time when God required people to make an altar, he expected them to collect 12 stones to show that that is what? That is complete. So let us look at our objectives for the day. Now, our first objective, you need to relate, we need to relate the appointment of Matthias. Secondly, explain the importance of choosing Matthias. Thirdly, explain lessons that can be drawn from the appointment of Matthias. And lastly, we're going to analyze the character of Peter from the appointment of Matthias. So now, as our introduction, you need to remember that in our previous session, which was probably sometime, I think, on Thursday last week, you looked at the ascension of Jesus and the post-resurrection. So now, today's lesson focuses on what? On the apostles now and the other believers in the upper room, waiting for what? For the Holy Spirit to fall on them. Now, if we open our Bibles, oh, by the way, your Bibles are opened already. Please go to chapter 1, verses 18. You will find that Judas Iscariot is dead. And how did he die? He fell headlong and he burst open. What a way to die. Now, again, importance of replacing Matthias. Of replacing Judas Iscariot. It was to fulfill Old Testament prophecies. What was this Old Testament prophecy that is found in Psalm 109, verse 8? David prophesied about the death of Judas Iscariot and the fact that his office was going to be taken by another. And lastly, it is important because we want to do what? To complete the number of the disciples. Remember, when Jesus chose his disciples, they were 12. And after the death of Judas, then they became 11. So to make sure that they are 12, Matthias had to be chosen to fill the place of Judas. Now let us look at the storyline. The storyline in general. This is our storyline, which means that we are talking about what? We are talking about the narrative part. If you were to be asked to sort of narrate or to give an account of the appointment of Matthias, what is it all about? What happened when they were in the upper room after the ascension of Jesus? Now, there were 120 believers. I am sure now some of you are asking themselves, but ma'am, 120 believers, where are they coming from now? Remember, on the Ascension Day, Jesus told his apostles, but because he told his apostles, it doesn't mean that the disciples, before I proceed with my thought, I want to make a distinction between an apostle and a disciple. An apostle, those were the inner circle. Those were the people that Jesus chose to be his inner circle. And then the disciples were all the people that followed Jesus, but those that they were not in the inner circle of Jesus Christ. So now, in the upper room, there were 120 in total. Why? Because it was the apostles and the other believers. So now Peter stood up boldly and started addressing these 120 believers. What did he tell them? He told them that, now remember that the scripture said that since Judas had died, now we need to do what? We need a replacement for Judas. Where is that coming from? Remember, we said that it is coming from the fact that it was prophesied in the Old Testament. King David prophesied that. So the replacement, this one, Matthias had to replace Judas Iscariot. So Peter stood up boldly and said what? And said that this person that had to be chosen, it had to be someone who had been with them together with Jesus from the baptism of John the Baptist up to the ascension of Jesus. What does that mean, or what does that tell you? It tells us that this person should have been someone who knew everything about what Jesus did from his baptism up to the time he was taken up to heaven. You need to remember, my dear Lena at home, that Matthias was replacing an apostle. So he had to be knowledgeable about everything about Jesus Christ. And then what happened, my dear learners, afterwards, after Peter had told them about the characteristics now of this person that was supposed to replace Judas Iscariot, he told them that it had to be someone who had been with them from the baptism of John and from the ascension of Jesus. That is very important. And then what happened? Two names were brought forward, Barsabbas and Matthias. So afterwards, after these two names were brought forward, what did these believers do? They prayed and they also casted lots. Now, I am sure that a majority of you are not familiar with the idea of casting lots. What is casting lots? When we are talking about casting of lots, we are talking about an ancient way of choosing someone. They would take two stones, write the names on those two stones, and then put the names in a pot, shake the pot, shake it, shake it, shake it. The first name that would come out would be the rightful person. So that was called what? Casting of lots. In today's language, probably we can liken it to throwing a dice, you know. Are you a head or a tail? I choose tail. So yeah, that's casting lots. And then after they prayed and they casted the lots, what happened? The lots fell on Matthias, which means that Matthias then took the place of Judas Iscariot. You need to remember, my dear Lena at home, that Judas Iscariot was the treasurer. So now a treasurer was still needed. So that is why they appointed Matthias. Now we are done with the storyline. Let us look at what? At characterization. We are looking at the characters that we find in this story. We find Peter. We also find the disciples. So, what kind of a man is Peter from the story? What kind of a person can we draw from the story? And the disciples as well. What kind of people are they? So now, Peter is bold and assertive. Why do we say Peter is bold and assertive? Remember that no one actually appointed Peter to do what? to address the 120 believers. I am sure that probably if I was amongst the 120 believers and Peter stood up and started reminding us that, remember that the Old Testament said the office of Judas Iscariot must be filled, I was going to ask him, sorry Peter, who made you our head prefect? But then it took guts for Peter to actually stand up in front of people, of 120 people, and remind them and tell them that, remember, this is what we are supposed to do. Now, my dear Lena, we need bold people in our society, people who will stand up for what is right. And then we are saying that again, he is what? He is assertive. What does it mean when we say he is an assertive someone? It means that Peter is the kind of a person who sees a need and acts on that need. What need did Peter feel in this instance? Now, no one had the guts to do what? To actually stand up and say, now there's a vacant position. Remember, we no longer have a treasurer. We need a treasurer. So now that is someone who is assertive, someone who sees a need and then does what? And feels that need. Let us look at the character of the disciples now. The disciples are very, very submissive. Why do we say they are submissive? It is because they were able to do what? To support everything that Peter said. Peter said, let us choose someone. Peter said, let us pray. Let us cast lots. None of the 120 believers actually said, sorry, Peter, who told you to remind us about all these things? So now that is a sign of what? Of being submissive, which is very important, my dear Lena. Please be submissive at home. You know, there are instances, many instances where you must exercise submission, not because you are unable to take the position, but because someone else has actually taken that position. So you need to do what? To then submit. Now, lessons learned from the death of Judas Iscariot. You need to remember, dear Lena, that we are focusing on chapter 1, verses 18. Judas Iscariot, how did he die? Just a brief reminder. He fell headlong and he burst open. All his guts came out. It's sort of like he swelled up, and then he fell and everything came out. So now, what lesson can we draw from that? We learn that the consequence of sin is death. Why do we say the consequence of sin is death? Now, it is because Judas Iscariot sold, remember, he sold Jesus. He betrayed Jesus. And what happened at the end of the day? He died. Nogwazi, you have a question?
No, actually, I don't have a question. Can we take a bit of a break? We'll be right back, viewers, right after this.
COVID-19 Corona. COVID-19 Corona. COVID-19 Corona. COVID-19 Corona. COVID-19 Corona. COVID-19 Corona. Let's dance together. Join hands. Fight against Corona. Let's dance together. Join hands. Fight against Corona. COVID-19 Corona. COVID-19 Corona.
My son, let's fight COVID-19 by making a meter away from each other.
COVID-19 Corona.
Wash your hands with soap and running water frequently to prevent COVID-19.
Avoid.
Welcome back to our viewers. And from Fives, if you have just joined us, it is your turn. And right now we are doing religious education. Mbumelelo. I got it right this time.
You got it right this time.
All right, please continue with your lesson.
Okay, so we were looking at lessons learned from the death of Judas Iscariot. And we had actually mentioned the very first one, that the consequence of sin is death. Now, the second one is that we should not conspire with evil people, or you can say association is important. So now, in the story of the appointment of Matthias, or rather, in the death of Jesus Christ before he died, his betrayal, we found Judas Iscariot conspiring with or associating himself with the people that wanted to kill Jesus. And what was the result of that? The results were negative, because he ended up dying a painful death. Imagine swelling up, bursting open, and all your guts spilled down. I'm sure no one would like to die like that. Death obviously is inevitable, but we all hope that someday we will have a peaceful death, not swelling up and all our guts bursting out in the open. So now, our third lesson that we learn is that we should learn that we are all very much replaceable. We are all replaceable. No one is irreplaceable. Judas Iscariot conspired with evil people. They sold Jesus, betrayed him, and he died. Jesus died. Why? Because of a few cents, just a few amount of money, So now, what happened after his death? He was replaced by Matthias. So now, my dear learner at home, remember, if you are given a responsibility, take it with kindness, treat it with all the respect in you, because whatever wrong you do, it will come back to you. You will be replaced. Now, the last one is repentance. We need to repent. Everyone needs to repent. In the death, or in the story of the death of Judas Iscariot, we are not told that he repented in any way. He never said, "Oh, Father God, I am sorry that I sold Jesus." Remember that during the crucifixion, one of those thieves repented and said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." That was a form of repentance. But Judas Iscariot never repented. So probably that is why he died a painful and a shameful death. So let us look at lessons learned from now the choosing of Matthias. We were looking at lessons learned from the death of Judas Iscariot. Now we are looking at what? At lessons learned from the choosing of Matthias. The first one is that being grounded in faith is rewarding. The main reason why Matthias was chosen to take the place of Judas Iscariot, it was because he was grounded in his faith. He met all the characteristics that Peter mentioned. The fact that he had to have been with them from the baptism of John up to the ascension of Jesus Christ. It means that there was no gap in between. Unlike other people who today would be in church A, following day they are in church B, following day they are in church C. You need to be grounded in your faith so that you may be rewarded, because you would know everything pertaining that particular church or faith that you believe in. And then we also learn that prayer is important before taking an important decision. So now, why is prayer important? Remember that Jesus Christ taught his disciples that they should pray. Yes, remember that before Jesus Christ was crucified, he prayed. He had to do what? To find strength somehow to carry him through all the pain that he was going to endure. So now, in the choosing of Matthias again, we find the 120 believers doing what? Praying. Why? Because they also too believe that prayer actually does what? It is a way that God would actually then do what? Be part of whatever they were doing. It was God who was going to be actually the one to choose who should be or who should take the place of Judas Iscariot. You need to remember that two names were brought forward. It was Barsabbas and Matthias. So now the apostles or the 120 believers needed God now to choose the one person who was going to take that place. So then they prayed. And then now, coming to another topic, these are the characteristics of the early church. Before I even give you the objectives of this topic, I need you to understand that in this context, when we are talking about church, we are not talking about a denomination. I'm sure that you know that when we are talking about a denomination, we are talking about the Roman Catholic Church, the Lutheran Church, the Anglican Church, or any other church that you can think of. Those are called denominations. But in this case, when we are talking about church, we are talking about all the believers. All those that believed that Jesus died and rose and ascended into heaven. So that is the church that we are referring to here. So now, what are the objectives? You need to describe the characteristics of the early church, and you also have to explain the relevance of these characteristics of the early church. These the relevance to today's church, the relevance to today's church of these characteristics that we will be looking at. So now, what are these characteristics? There are four. These are all the characteristics of the early church. The first one, the breaking of bread. Secondly, praying together. Thirdly, preaching. And the last one, sharing. So now, one by one, breaking of bread. Every time when the believers met, they would break the bread. This was commanded by Jesus. Remember, in the Last Supper, Jesus commanded them to do what? To do it in his memory. So every time when they meet, they would do what? They would break the bread in remembrance of Jesus, as it can be or as it is shown in this picture. Remember, we have our wine here, which represents the blood of Jesus, and we have our bread here, which represents the body of Jesus. Now, again, the early church, they did what? They prayed together. It was another characteristic of the early church, praying together. So now, they had what? Regular prayers. They prayed in the 3rd hour, the 6th hour, and in the 9th hour. So, in today's language, what is the 3rd hour? The 3rd hour is 9 a.m. This is 9 a.m. The 6th hour is 12 noon, and the 9th hour is 3 p.m. So now we are saying that these early believers, they would have regular prayer sessions. They had both private prayer sessions and public prayer sessions. So praying together was what brought them together. It gave them a common goal. And then moving forward, we have our preaching. So now, preaching was also one of the traits that the early church had possessed. So now, they would preach in the temple, they would preach crowds. And sometimes you will find in the book of Acts that sometimes they would preach to individuals. So preaching was a trait that they possessed. It was something that gave them hope. It was something that gave them a common goal. It was a way in which they would remind each other. Remember, Jesus Christ said, you are going to be my witnesses. So now, as they were preaching, they were doing what? They were his witnesses. They were telling the newly converted about the death of Jesus Christ, his resurrection, and where he was, and what his promises were. And then the last one is sharing. Now, the early church shared all the possessions they had. They shared everything. Even if they had one loaf of bread, they would share that amongst themselves. If someone had a field, they would sell that field and then take the proceeds to their apostles, so that they would share whatever they got from whatever they got from selling that field. So now, as I said, they shared everything. They shared everything, literally everything. Now, the relevance now. Do Christians today still need, to know or to practice these characteristics that the early church possessed? And we are saying yes. Today's church still needs those characteristics. Why is that? It is because these characteristics are actually a lesson for the early church, that they should be what? For today's, they are a lesson for today's church, that they must be united. Now, remember, we said they shared, they prayed, preached, and they broke bread. So these are the things that united the early church. And these very same things can also unite the church today. So they are very much relevant. So now, let us look at our assessment. I am sure a majority of you were asking themselves, but now we've had 3 lessons already, but we've never been assessed. So today, we have an assessment question. Please write it down. It reads, do you think Christians today still have the qualities of the early church? Do you think Christians today still have the qualities of the early church? Give reasons to support your answer. Give reasons to support your answer. And you also need to show that you have thought about different points of views. Yes, you have thought about different points of views. So now, I am sure that you know that this is an evaluation question, which is 8 marks. An evaluation question, my dear, Form 5 is always 8 marks. So now, let us look at how you are supposed to structure your answer. I am not going to give you the answer. I'm just going to remind you of the structure, or of how you are supposed to answer an evaluation question. So now, first things first, you need to take a stand. What does it mean when we say you take a stand? What exactly are you supposed to write? It means you are supposed to say, yes, I think, or you write, no, I do not think. So now, again, you need to support your stand with what? With the religious facts. And you have to do what? To give other people's view. And then, how do you introduce that? You say, some people may disagree with me, and you also support their stand. Remember, this side, you are not supposed to include your views. Now, that's the end of today's session. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.
Thank you very much, Mpumelelo. And can I just say that religious education is important because it helps us, both young and old, to gain a lot of wisdom. So thank you very much for that. That was a very interesting lesson. And I hope that the Form 5s were actually watching and they actually got to see their assessment question and they'll be able to do that. And we'll get their assessment answers in the next session, right?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Mpumelelo.
Thank
Up
you.
next is me again with Zweli Mamba doing mathematics for Form 5. Form 5s, do not go anywhere. We will be right back.
Sibambisene kulwa nekwanza kuligciwane lecorona.
Pay your TV license for being in possession of devices such as television sets, DVDs, VCRs, monitors, and more. You are reminded that payments of TV licenses is due on or before the 31st of December every year. 180 emalangeni per year for individual or business viewership, 300 emalangeni for television trading license, and 50 emalangeni for other devices. You can pay for your TV license through MTN Mobile Money, Eswatini Mobile Imali, NetBank, and Eswatini Telecom. Visit us at the television license offices at the Madlenya House, Babane, or call this number 3434 1234. Pay yours every year.
The basic protective measures against the new coronavirus. Wash your hands and thoroughly with soap and water or use alcohol-based hand rub. Maintain social distancing. Maintain at least 1 meter distance between yourself and anyone who is coughing or sneezing. Avoid touching eyes, nose, and mouth. Hands touch many surfaces and can pick viruses. Once contaminated, hands can transfer the virus to your eyes, nose, or mouth. From there, the virus can enter your body and make you sick. Practice respiratory hygiene. Make sure you and the people around you follow good respiratory hygiene. This means covering your mouth and nose with your bent elbow or tissue when you cough or sneeze. Dispose the used tissue immediately. If you have fever, cough, and difficulty breathing, seek medical help early. Stay home if you feel unwell. Follow the directions of your local health authority. Stay informed and follow advice given by your healthcare provider. A very warm welcome to our viewers and welcome back to the Form 5s. You are still tuned in to Eswatini TV and you are watching our program Home Study. I am Nogwazi Dlamini and with me right now in the studio is the Form 5s mathematics teacher Mr. Zweli Mamba. Also joining us in the studio are our sign language interpreters Zanele Fagutse and Linda Mamba. Zweli, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm fine, Gwazi. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. So, what is today's topic about, and what are you hoping that your learner will have learned by the end of this lesson?
Okay, today's topic is an interesting topic on coordinate geometry.
Okay.
This topic is very applicable even in our everyday lives.
Okay.
You talk of the navigation systems in our cars. It uses coordinate geometry. So when you feed in the information in the navigation system, for example, if I want to go to Nesprate, so I will feed in Nesprate.
Okay.
So the navigation system will then show me where Nesprate is, one. So that's coordinate geometry, locating Nesprate using coordinates. Then two, it will be able to calculate the distance between Nespreet and where I'm at.
Okay.
So this concept is very important and applicable.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. So from 5s, if you remember what I said earlier, mathematics needs practice, practice, and more practice. So if you keep doing it, you will do well, I suppose. Just also to remind you, we are live on YouTube and on Facebook. And if you have any questions that you might have for your mathematics lesson, feel free to send us any questions that you might have on our WhatsApp line or on YouTube. Zweli, I will give it to you now to start your lesson.
Okay, thank you, Gwazi. Dear learners, it's a good day. Let's start our lesson. As I've already said, today's lesson is on coordinate geometry. This is the materials that you are going to need for our lesson. You need a pencil, a pen, a ruler, a squared paper, a mathematics exercise book, and a calculator. So make sure you have those materials with you in order to enjoy our lesson today. The objectives for this lesson, there are only 2 objectives for this lesson. The first one, learner, after this lesson you should be able to find the length of a line segment. Okay, so the length of a line segment given its end points. The second objective, you should be able to find the coordinates of the midpoint of a line segment, again given its end points. So those are the 2 objectives that we have to cover in today's lesson. Okay, so the prerequisite knowledge, the knowledge that you require for this lesson is you should have covered the XY plane, plotting of points, Pythagoras theorem, solving quadratic equations, and the mean. Okay, so please don't say you don't understand this topic. Okay, make sure that you have covered those topics I've mentioned as prerequisite knowledge for you to enjoy our lesson today. So I hope you are ready to start. Okay. Okay, so we have our introduction. Maybe we can just look at what coordinate geometry is about. Coordinate geometry is the study of shapes formed by coordinate points and their properties. So that's what coordinate geometry is all about. If you are interested, you want to know about what coordinate geometry is about, it's all about that. So I hope you are ready now to get into our first subtopic, that is the length of a line segment. Okay, so what is a line segment? A line segment is a line joining 2 coordinate points. So a line segment is a line joining 2 coordinate points. So what do I mean by that? I mean that if you have 2 points, so you have 2 points, the line joining those 2 points is what we call a line segment. Otherwise, a line can continue, you can draw a line and it continues to infinity if that's the case. So I hope we can continue now. So our first objective, as I've said, we should be able to find the length of a line segment. So let's start now. Look at these lines, these following lines. Okay, so here is our first line. Okay, so we are given this line segment. Notice it is joining 2 points. So we have those 2 dots, those are our 2 points. So that's a line segment joining those 2 points. What is the length of this line segment? What is the length of this line segment? You should be able to give the length of this line segment as what? As I'm sure, dear Lena, you've got what? A 3. Okay. How can we find this 3? Or how did you find this 3? I'm sure most of you learners at home, you just simply calculated the number of squares you are having. 1, 2, 3. So you have 3 squares. 1, 2, 3 squares. So hence you say the length of this line is 3. Okay, but that way of finding a length of a line segment, I don't normally like it, okay? Because there is something that you need to do before just counting the number of squares. The first thing you need to do is make sure you check what each square represents. Okay, how many units does each square represent? So you can come here, check from your x-axis from 0 to 1. To our first square we have a 1. So that means each square represents 1 unit. Hence you can go there. If you have 3 squares, so you know the length of the line is 3. Okay, there is another way, of course, of finding the length of this line segment. Okay, the other way of getting this 3 will be saying, you know, this line starts from 1 and it ends at what? At 4. And this line, notice that it is parallel to the x-axis, or we say it is horizontal. So we can easily get the length of this line by just saying 4, which is the end point, minus the starting point, which is 1. Then you get to this 3. So that is how easily you can get the length of this line. Okay, let's go to another line segment. Another line segment. Here is another line segment. Can you find the length of this line segment? I'm sure learners at home, you were able to find the length of this line segment. But I suspect some learners have given the length of this line segment as 2. You see, some are saying, what's happening now? Yes, the length of this line segment, dear learner, is not 2. Why are we saying it's not 2? Remember what we said. Before you count the number of squares, make sure you check what each square represents. Okay, so we can come to our y-axis because this line is parallel to the y-axis. So we can use this y-axis to actually find the length of this line. So let's check what each square represents. Check from 0 again to the first square. You check there, we have a 2. So this means that each small square represents what? 2 units. Each square represents 2 units. So we can come here, we count it from here, we go 1, so we go 2, each square represents 2 units, we go to 4. So this means that, let me erase this. So now you agree with me that the length of this line segment is 4. But we can also use this other method that I said. Please make sure you use this method. You never go wrong. This is the starting point of the line. This is the end point. So we can simply say 6 minus 2. Then we get to that 4. I hope you are quite pleased, learners. Let's continue to another line segment, a third line segment, this one. Remember, we should be able to find the length of a line segment. So here is another line segment, quite different from the previous 2 lines. Can you find the length of this line segment, DLN? I'm sure now, students, you are struggling to find the length of this line segment. Why? This line segment now is no longer horizontal nor vertical. What do we do with such lines? This line is slanting. We say it's slanting, this line. How do we find the length of a slanting line? Okay, remember, learners, we have just seen that it's easier to find the length of a horizontal line. That is a line that is parallel to the x-axis. So we can say it's easier to find the length of a horizontal line. Okay, so notice this line. We can say this line, it has a horizontal distance, and it also has a vertical distance. Those 2 lines, we can find their lengths. Okay, remember, we've already found the length of this line as what? As 3, dear learners. How about this side, the other side? We say the length of that line is what? Is 4. Okay, so And notice what we have now. We have a what? A right angled triangle. Okay, because we have a vertical line, and we have a what? A horizontal line. Okay, and they meet at this point. We say that the two lines are perpendicular since they meet at a right angle. Okay, so hence we can now find this slanting line using the idea of what? What comes to your mind when you see a right angled triangle? What should come to your mind is what? Is a Pythagoras rule. Gwazi, it's like you have something to say.
No, can we take a bit of a break just to have a bit of water? Viewers will be right back after this.
Okay.
Kumelula ukuthi ligciwane lecorona lisuke kulomunye lingene kulomunye uma sitawusonzelana. Singasita sinciphise kwanza kwalo ngekuthi sikhweshelane. Lokhu kusho ukuthi singachawulani, singathinzani njengokuhagana nje. Tikhweshise ngesigaba lesiyimitha kusuka kulabanye. Kumcoka kakhulu kuhlala uhlobile nekuthi hlobisa uma uke waphumela kubantu. Ngekubambisana sitakumisa kwanza kwaleli gciwane sibe ngulabaphilile. Eswatini sibambisene kulwa nekwanza kweligciwane lecorona.
Welcome back, viewers. You are still tuned into Eswatini TV, and this is Home Study, and we are doing from 5 mathematics with Mr. Zweli Mamba. Zweli, I'll let you continue with your lesson.
Okay, thank you, Gwazi. Welcome back, dear learners. Let's continue with our lesson. What I wanted us to note from our previous discussion is that it is easier to find the length of line segments that are either horizontal or vertical. We've seen that. But slanting lines need the idea of what? Of Pythagoras rule. So let me try and remind you what Pythagoras rule states. Remember, Pythagoras rule applies in what? In right-angled triangles. Okay, so if you have two sides, if two sides are known, you can find the what? The third side, if you know two sides in a right-angled triangle using this Pythagoras rule. Okay, so here is an example of a right-angled triangle. Okay, so we have this side I'm marking with H. Side AB is called the hypotenuse side. Okay, it's called the hypotenuse side, and it is the longest side in a right angled triangle. Okay, so sometimes it's not easier to spot the hypotenuse side, but we can use the idea that the hypotenuse side is always opposite to this what? Right angle. So the hypotenuse side is the side opposite to the right angle. So Pythagoras' theorem states that the hypotenuse side squared is equals to the sum of squares of the other two sides. So here is our Pythagoras rule, what it states. So the AB, which is the longest side squared, is equals to this AC squared plus BC what? Squared plus this BC squared. So we can use this idea of Pythagoras theorem to find the length of what? Of slanting line segments. So we can go back now to our slanting line. Okay, so now let's use the idea of Pythagoras theorem to find the length. So here is our slanting line. We had already found this side was 3, the other side was 4, so we can as well skip this. Okay, so here we are finding the length of the slanting line, that is the line A B, using Pythagoras rule. Okay, so notice here is our Pythagoras rule. We write it first. It's always advisable to write the formula first so that you don't forget it. So AP squared is equals to AC squared plus BC squared. Okay, notice we are not interested in AP squared. We want to find AB. Okay, so we have to remove this squared there. Okay, so how do you remove that squared? Okay, I'm teaching Form 5s, HCSE mathematics students, so it should be easy. Okay, so you just square root both sides. So AP will be equals to the square, you square root both sides. Okay, so the square cancel that 2, the square root cancel that 2, then we have AP is equals to what? The square root of AC squared plus BC, this comes here, plus BC squared. Hence now we can come with our AP. We already knew that AP is 3, so we have a 3 there. We'll have 3 squared, then we know BC is 4, so we have that 4 there. So we are just substituting to the Pythagoras rule, to this equation. Okay, so then we work it out. We should be able to get to this 5. Okay, so the length of line segment AP is 5. Let's continue. Of course, we can deduce a formula that makes things easier for us. A formula makes things easier for us. Having that formula, we just plug in numbers, then we should be good to go. So here we are deducing the formula for finding the length of a line segment. So notice for the length of a line segment, I've used D. This D it stands for the distance between 2 coordinate points. Remember, our objective was that we should be able to find the length of a line segment joined by 2 coordinate points. So let's deduce this formula. Okay, so we have our first coordinate. Because we are coming up with a formula, so we are generalizing. So we have marked our first coordinate as x1, y1, and our second coordinate B as what? As x2. Let me remove this. This our P as x2, y2. Okay, so that AC now, this side AC, this side AC now will get it by saying the second x coordinate, which is x2, minus the first coordinate, which is x1. Okay, see, let me write it here. So you'd say x2 minus x1, you get that side. Okay, and also this side you just say y2, the second y coordinate, which is y2, you minus it with y1, you get BC. You substitute as we have done here. Where there is AC, we have that x2 minus x1. Where is BC, we have y2 minus y1. Okay, then we make AP the subject, so we get this. Then remember, I said we normally use D, meaning the distance between the 2 points AB. We normally use D, or you can also write length of the line segment instead of writing that D. So this is the formula that we have come up with. Okay, so now we can use this formula, dear learners, to enjoy more questions where you are given the end points. So you just plug into that formula and it will give you the distance between those 2 points, or the line segment. The length of the line segment, I mean. So here is a question now. Find the length of a line segment joining these 2 points. So what we do, dear learners, is we have 2 points. So we have point A as 2,3 and we have B as 8,11. So we can let the first coordinate, which is A in our case, we let it be x1, the x coordinate to be x1, the y coordinate to be y1, because it's our first coordinate. That's it. Our second coordinate, we let this x coordinate to be x2, the other y coordinate to be y2. Check now. Remember our formula. We want the length of a line segment. We represent it as t, the distance between 2 points. Now what we can do, we just plug in. Where there is x2, you just go there, pick x2 is 8, you put it there. Hence we have this 8. Where there is x1, you come this side, x1 is 2, you put it there. Okay, y2, y1. Then after substituting to this formula, you are getting the distance between the 2 points as 10. Okay. Yes, here is another question. Dear learners, you can copy this question down so that you can try it at home. Copy this question down, you can try it at home. When we come back, we will further explain how to get the solution for this question. Okay, so the last thing is just the simplest thing, is the how do we find the midpoint of a line segment. That's the last thing, that's the simplest. So here is our example. We are given this line segment AB. We are asked to find the coordinate of the midpoint. Okay, what is the coordinate of the midpoint? So what is the midpoint? The midpoint is the point that is halfway, the given line. So we have this given line AB. We want to find the coordinate of this midpoint. We have used the M to show that this point is the midpoint. What is the coordinate of this midpoint? I'm sure dear learners are saying that it's very easy. You can just use your XY plane to find the coordinate of M. What is the coordinate of M? Of course, learners, is what? Is 3, what? 4. Very easy, eh? Okay. So, but it won't be always this simple. Remember, the objectives of the syllabus are saying you'll be given the end points to find the coordinate of the midpoint. So you'll be given something like this. Ask yourself, how can you find the coordinate of the midpoint, that M, that's the midpoint. You see, now we have the end point. So you see that we have to have a way of finding the coordinate of the midpoint. So we have to go back and let's try and check here. How can we get to this 3 and that 4? Okay, we have said M, the coordinate of M is 3, 4. It's clear from the graph. But ask yourself, how can we find this 3? Remember, we are using this x coordinate, the coordinate of the end points. So we have A, this is the x coordinate for A is 1 and the y coordinate is 2. For the other endpoint, we have 5, the x coordinate, the y coordinate is 6. So from these two numbers, how can we find this 3? Notice this 3 is in the middle of 1 and 5. So what we can do, we can simply say, notice that we can just take the average of 1 and 5, which is just the mean. We call it the mean. That's the correct way, because we have 3 averages. So the mean of 1 and 5, we just simply say 1 plus 5, then we divide by, we have how many numbers? We have 2 numbers that we are adding, so divided by 2. So this gives us a what? A 3. You also do the same thing this side, 2 plus 6 divided by 2, you get to the what? The 4. That's how you get to the coordinate of the midpoint. So I'm sure you'll be able to do the same thing here to find the coordinate of the midpoint. Remember, you take the coordinate of this point here and the coordinate of the point here. Those two, you add them. Then you divide by what? By 2. You find what? The x coordinate. You find the x coordinate. And you also do the same thing on the other side to find the y coordinate of the midpoint. So again, You will add the number that's here and also that's here. You add them, then you divide by 2. The reason I'm rushing now is that we are out of time, dear learners. It's unfortunate that this lesson was too long for the time that we have here. But I hope we'll have enough time to come and clarify things easily for you learners. But please do continue practicing, do more questions, then you should be good to go.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mamba, for that. And sorry, like you said, we have actually run out of time. We hope to see you again for the mathematics class. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gwan.
Gwazi.
Gwazi, yes, thank you, Gwazi.
Viewers, me and Lerato will be right back after this.
Kumelula ukuthi ligciwane lecorona lisuke kulomunye lingene kulomunye uma sitawusonzelana. Singasita sinciphise kwanza kwalo ngekuthi sikhweshelane. Lokhu kusho ukuthi singachawulani, singathinzani njengokuhagana nje. Tikhweshise ngesigaba lesiyimitha kusuka kulabanye. Kumcoka kakhulu kuhlala uhlobile nekuthi hlobisa uma uke waphumela kubantu. Ngekubambisana sitakumisa kwanza kwaleli gciwane sibe ngulabaphilile. Eswatini sibambisene kulwa nekwanza kweligciwane lecorona.
Welcome back, viewer. I hope the grade 7s, Form 3s and Form 5s enjoyed their lessons today. What an exciting day it was. Nogwazi, did you enjoy your day today?
I really did. Hey, I actually enjoyed religious education today. It was a very, very interesting lesson, I must say. Yeah.
Since we don't have much time, please can you tell us about our timetable for tomorrow?
Okay, viewers, so tomorrow's timetable looks like this. First off, we have religious education for grade 7 from 2 p.m. until 2:30 p.m. Then we have science for Form 3 from 2:30 p.m. until 3:08 p.m. Then we have religious education for Form 3 from 3:08 p.m. until 3:45 p.m. Then we have chemistry for Form 5 from 3:45 p.m. to 4:25 p.m. Then lastly is physics for Form 5 from 4:25 p.m. until 5 in the afternoon. That will be the last lesson for the day, Lerato.
Okay. And a reminder to you viewers, if you missed any episodes for today, please get us on YouTube and Facebook platforms because we were live there from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Other than that, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yes, and just also to remind the viewers that there is a repeat on channel Yemaswati of this episode, which goes from 9 a.m. until 12 p.m. So we'll see you guys tomorrow.
See you guys tomorrow.
Bye.